Five, six. Oh no, she's not here. I gotta do it. Here we go. I gotta do my intro. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, what's going on, world? It's your girl Shy, and welcome back to the CheyTea podcast. Whoa. Hey. Ow. Outside. It's hot. It's hot. Hollywood. Hollywood. Hollywood.
Does everybody
Jade. It's Jade. Hollywood.
That's me.
Hey,
That's me.
Hey.
I'm like, does everybody get a theme song with their name in it? Because if not,
No, they don't. Not
Good.
everybody.
good.
Not everybody
Because
gets
I mean, I'm special.
Yo, honestly, yeah, this is gonna be a good episode. Oh my goodness. Hi friends, welcome back to the CheyTea podcast. I am your host, Cheyenne Shantae, and it's your girl Eleonora is here in spirit because
Only.
yeah, she's not feeling well today, so I will be taking over. No, we didn't break up like the last co-host. Okay, we are, no shade.
Weird. Pause. Hold on. You know you can't say things like that in front of me. What happened to the last co-host?
She's not here.
Ooh. All right. Well,
Yeah.
good luck to that girl.
Yeah. Whatever she's doing in her life, good luck.
We hope you are well and that all things are working out for you.
Sorry, Hollywood hopes you're well and all things. There's no we.
Ooh, child. I want to know what she did.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
We'll get into that. I won't be afraid to share that tea. But anyways,
You need a slurp sound anytime somebody... See, this is what happens. I come to places and I just start offering ideas and suggestions. But honestly, anytime I'm about to spill some tea, I'm going to be like...
Go ahead. Listen, Go ahead, because that is what we're here to do. My friends, listen, you already know I'm laughing, I'm giggling, I'm going to be smiling from ear to ear because I have my favorite, okay? This man right here, you're going to get an intro, okay? So let's get it.
All right.
This man right here, when I tell you this man is the reason why I know how to walk in a heel boot correctly, okay? And I people them heels of the boots, okay? And not only do I know how to walk in the heel boots, I also know how to walk outside of the heel boots, okay?
Come on.
Because the heel is just a shoe, all right? And that is what he had taught me, all right? And this was back in like 2011, 2012 when I was in that company, boss. And you came. Yeah. You're the reason why, okay?
Aww.
So let the girls know, okay? Let everybody know that Mr. Hollywood Jade is in the building today on the CheyTea podcast. Let's clap for that. Let's clap for that. Insert the clap sounds.
He is I and I am him. Hollywood. Sorry. You started this with the theme song stuff.
He's like, I'm just going to start doing the theme song. Oh my goodness. How are you doing today?
Honestly, God is amazing. The sun is shining. The skin is clear. Panty clean. Smell good. You know.
You know who you remind me a lot of? Like more of like the wild side? Shamika.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
You're like wild Shamika right now.
That's Shamika. I am definitely the brawling side of Miss Blake, who is like one of like my favorite human beings and like such a good friend. That actually makes so much sense.
It's given that.
That's
like,
a great observation.
Yeah.
She's gonna love that. She's gonna be like, yeah, I'm a friend that.
Like I get that. It's so weird. I definitely get that. But oh man. Okay. So before we get into the conversation, because we will be talking in this episode, so let's just get ready, friends. Okay. You got to make sure you're following us, CheyTea Podcast, on all social media platforms, Instagram and TikTok, because the girls are what? TikToking And you'll find us also available on the audio platforms.
We're following on all platforms.
Yes, please. Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment, like, and do all that stuff. Share with the WhatsApp group, your auntie, your uncle, the family WhatsApp group chat, and all them things there. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I just want to like congratulate you and the spirit of Aaliyah on all of this, right? Like you just said, all of those different platforms where this is available, and as young Black women spearheading your own thing, doing your own thing. I think it's vitally important for you to tap yourself on the back. Well, and it is black, right? Yeah, tap all of the things and like just big up yourselves. Like honestly, like you guys asked me to come through. I sort of offered to come through because I'm legit. I'm like, I want to be able to continue to support us in all the different avenues that we all expand into. So like, good for you being on all of them platforms.
Thank you so much.
Big up your chest.
Thank you. I would like to thank. No, I'm joking. No, it's honestly, it's something that I like how this is how it all started, which I'll give you the tea because you did ask. Yeah, it all started with somebody that I was friends with, and it was a panorama outside Lock Off, and we just felt like we had a lot to talk about. We had a lot of things to say. So I was like, you know what? Maybe we should do like a little podcast or whatever. So that's where like the CheyTea came from. It was my name and her name in it. But then, she got a man, switched up, doesn't know how to act anymore, and ended our friendship over nothing. Stole money from me and that we earned together from the workshop that you came in from, the one we hired you for.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So we made money off of that together, paid the other teachers that came, Miss Toya Badeau, shout out to you. And then, said to me she didn't want to do it anymore because she got a man. I'm like, all right, cool. Got petty with me. And then when I was just asking for stuff back, she was giving me a hard time. And yeah.
Say less.
Stole my money and then now I'm here.
I retract my earlier statements about being well. I hope that the karma that you deserve finds you, whatever that means.
I hope you stub your toe.
On you.
Yeah. Amen.
I hope you stub your toe.
Listen, he brought this side out of me. I've been like very nice, but
I'm just being honest. Like I feel like people take for granted the whole thought of you reap what you sow, right? And you feel like you can be nasty and dirty to people. And like, because it worked in your favor in this moment, you feel like that's going to be what it is for forever. But one thing I am abundantly certain of is it all comes back to you, right? Like, and I have prided myself in my life and in my career on being a good person.
Yes.
And I am living and it is reaping season. And I am reaping the benefits of continuously, even when it was really, really hard, and even when you know people business, and you know a set of people that might go on certain way and do certain things, you conduct yourself in a way that you can look yourself in the mirror every morning, and in doing so, I hope whatever you reap, you shall sow. Yes.
That the part there, yeah.
Right. Tiefin gal.
Tiefin.
Sorry.
It's okay. God bless me, put me in another place. I have my light. I have everything set up. Did it myself.
A professional mic.
Yes.
A multiple camera angle.
Yes. And the shout out to my man, because my man was there with me.
Yes.
So it is what it is. But let's just get into the episode with my good guest here. Right. We're going to get to talking and, listen, I'm just letting it know right now. I'm going to be take two. I'm going to let it be known right now. We said what we said. Simply. That's it.
And that's just that on that.
So there's your disclaimer if you need one. But anyways, I need the world, these new generational dancers that don't know, but should know if you do your homework. We need to know who Hollywood Jade is. Who is Hollywood Jade?
Oh, Hollywood Jade is a boy who grew up loving dance and loving music and loving arts. I had no idea how I was going to make this love and passion into something that was viable, because being a first generation Canadian, 2 Caribbean parents, being interested in dance was fine if you were a girl,
Mm-hmm.
but being interested in dance and then wanting dance to be your career was unheard of. I'm also the eldest child from my mother. So, like, the expectations were go to school, get straight A's, go to university, become a doctor, an electrician, a dentist, a lawyer, the things that weren't readily available to the generation before us, like my mom and my grandma and my aunts and my uncles. Um, and I just knew that that wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to somehow in the late 90s, early 2000s, like find community. I took my first professional dance class when I was like 17 years old.
Wow.
Until then, I just danced. Like, I trained, wouldn't call it training, but I danced with like all the girls from Ruckus. Like, we all grew up in the East Scarborough Boys and Girls Club, and like
Mm-hmm.
we would just do dance performances um, through them I started doing other talent shows because talent shows was like the main way that these dance groups were the big thing early 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you weren't in a top dance group, then you weren't considered a dancer. um, but yeah, doing those talent shows is how we got a name for ourselves. And then, the music video craze of Sean Paul era happened, and X started building a name for himself and bringing more work here to Toronto. So we started doing music videos, and it all just snowballed. But I am literally just a boy who loves art and found a way where there was no way of building and making a career out of it.
Wow. Yeah. That's
That
damn,
was like the
that's
broadest stroke version of it.
I know, but it's so insightful too to hear because I think that um all, if not all, but most Caribbean households, like that is something that we all struggle with. I've spoken that on this platform as well, is that me trying to convince my parents that dance could be an income for me because go to school,
Right.
do this, do that, become a lawyer, you need to have a salary, you need to do
If you're not in
this.
school, then you needed to be studying a trade,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Mechanic.
Do something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could you
something.
imagine me being a mechanic?
No. I can't.
Covered in oil? That's not body oil? No,
And then
sir.
somebody talking to you, battered you up, like that's just not it.
Over their dirty muffler that needed to be fixed from where there, they didn't know. God knew what he was doing. God
He knew
exactly what he was
exactly.
doing.
And that's what I feel as well. Like I'm just like I was made for dancing. So it's good to hear that like you were able to make it something that also you can be successful in and find true happiness in as well.
Yeah. I mean, even that in itself was a journey. Like, I feel like one of the things that I've had to learn, not just being a male first generation to Caribbean parents dancer, but I'm also queer, and not having role models and not having examples,
Mm-hmm.
points of reference that looked like me that I could then go to, like my mom, not so much my mom, because big up Lorraine anywhere she there. She's always had my back, has
Yeah.
always been a supporter. Like birthday parties, shows, she's there
Yeah.
whenever she could be. You know what I mean? But like it was really hard for my family, and what I had to understand was they didn't have any examples of this, right? And something else that I want to clear up too in terms of like the black community and queerness is like a lot of these people moved from their homes in the late 70s, mid
Mm-hmm.
70s, 80s. And at the time, that was the AIDS epidemic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so all of the jargon and narrative that they heard surrounding queerness was negative. They were either pedophiles or they were gonna die.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I had to come to terms with the reality that they just don't know that
Mm-hmm.
this is an option. Same with being a working performer. Like they love Diana Ross and they love Whitney Houston, but they didn't realize like Whitney Houston is from New Jersey.
Yeah.
right? Like that wasn't information that we had available
It
to us.
wasn't
So,
common knowledge.
right. So when we saw them, we just saw them as these figures. They didn't see them as real people. And like releasing a lot of their preconceived notions and like giving them grace and not understanding it at the time was like vitally important to my journey in healing and being able to move forward with the decisions that I made for myself as a career path. You know what I mean? But it's been a journey and it has not been easy, especially being Canadian, being here where there is a glass ceiling that seems to get lower and lower as you get higher and
As you
higher,
get higher.
right?
Yep.
And just the limitations that exist here, like it wasn't always, there wasn't always work readily available, right? And then it's getting people to pay you what you're worth to do said things. Like when I started doing music videos, standard rate for a music video was $325. I don't know anyone who's getting $325 now to dance in a music video. And the numbers have not gone up, guys.
No, they're just going lower and lower.
Right, because and every wapi su and jingbang is a dancer. and then you have Mukum Dash over here who's a choreographer. And I'm not coming for anybody's bag, honey. Make your coin. However, I'm gonna just keep going until you stop laughing.
Sorry.
However, like there has to be a standard that's created and maintained. Otherwise, it all ends up being volunteer work.
Yo, some people say like every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
I said wapisu.
Wapisu.
I'm feeling. I think the sun has me feeling extra Caribbean today.
No, I love it. I
Yeah.
definitely love it
I
because
mean-
it's true. And these are all things like I definitely want to have this conversation with you because you have so much knowledge. But to go back into like dancing and making it your true passion and like where you started and building your that resume he has is heavy. But building that, like, what was your first professional job? Like, what was your first professional job as a dancer that you booked?
I'm going to say my first professional job that I booked as a dancer was New York Minute, a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie that I booked through Blaze Entertainment, who was one of the first, not one of the first, like, yeah, they were like my first managers and like my first mentors. New York Minute, Mary-Kate and Ashley. My scene got cut from the movie, but I still got that check.
I didn't know you were in that.
Because the scene was cut from the movie. I think there might be like a glimpse, like it's this one moment where the elevator shaft, the window shaft is falling and it keeps stopping on different floors. And we were one of the floors that they stopped on. We were having like a party in the hotel room.
Oh, okay.
So I think you see like it go like, phew, past us. But that's okay.
But you got the check.
Yes,
Okay.
and the experience,
Yes.
right? Like that was my first time being on a like film set, and like I was like, oh, I can do this. Like I got this.
I'm made for this.
Yes, I think I have a photo of my outfit somewhere, like a Polaroid of it somewhere still. But yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, I know for a fact it's hung on my wall in my house. I don't know why I'm pretending like I don't.
You don't
have
know where it is.
I don't know why I'm acting.
He's like, I know exactly what I was wearing. I know exactly what I look like.
It's like a leopard
Wow.
bucket hat. It's a whole thing. But
Okay.
yeah,
And that was
my
filmed here in
That was
Toronto?
filmed here in Toronto. And I had just met Blaze that summer. I was in a dance group called Mystery. It was an all-male dance group. We all happened to be of the Bataman persuasion. And of course, there was turmoil in the group because everybody wants to be Beyonce when there's only one Beyonce.
And that's you.
I didn't realize that I was Beyonce then, though. I allowed people to take my power from me.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
Not anymore.
never again. We had split up and we did, they used to do these dance competitions at Yonge and Dundas Square. And I had danced with one of the then members, Chris Clark. And he separated and was doing his own thing. And we danced. And Jay Blaze happened to be at the competition. And she came up to us and was like, I'm looking for males to join what at the time was an all-female dance group, Blaze. And I was like, She does music videos. I'm doing this. Chris is like, I'm starting my own company and I'm gonna have my own. I said, you know what, babe? I love that for you. I'm gonna go over here.
I'm gonna go where it's
Yeah,
not
I
more.
love
Yeah.
you. Bye. And I did,
Yeah.
and I started taking their classes, and then they needed Fatima, who so Blaze was Fatima and Jay,
Mm-hmm.
and Fatima also did a lot of casting stuff, and they needed dancers for this scene for New York Minute, and she was like, "Are you available this date at this time? Be here, bring this," and I'm like, "I'm in," and I went and I crushed it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It seems that like when I speak to a lot of, I don't like to call you guys OGs because
I mean,
I
I'm
mean you
closer
are.
to being old than anything else.
I know, but you age like
Not,
Benjamin Button though.
baby, not in this face.
Like, let me tell you something. Sometimes Hollywood, before I go on to what I was saying, sometimes Hollywood likes to post these things on his Instagram, and I'm just like, okay, why are you like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
You're aging
Yeah,
backwards.
set good like ice in a freezer.
Like, and in person, the skin, like, I just want the skin routine, the skincare routine. I'm just not understanding. Like, Hollywood is
secret?
getting younger.
The secret is drinking water and minding the business that pays you.
Amen.
Because joy will keep you youthful, honey. And not being in anybody's mix-up or drama reduces wrinkle lines.
Absolutely.
And hydrating regularly and flushing your system of toxins, including people, will keep you youthful. So this glow you see comes from peace. Okay?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes, I'm going to do that. I already do it, but I got to do some more.
Honey,
I got to do some more.
come
Yeah.
back with Adrian.
Yeah, like, come together. Amen. Mm-hmm.
No, but that's what it is. Like I OGs, I get why it can feel a certain kind of way, but I wear it with a badge of honor. Again, going back to like this whole AIDS epidemic, like there's a whole generation of Black queer creatives that just died.
Yep.
And their art died with them. It's not like now where they could have set up a camera and be like, you know, like there's rumors like a lot of Fosse's stuff was inspired by the people he had in the room.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? And like informed so much of his experience. But those men just died. Like if we were collaborating on something and you disappeared, because that's what happened. Like these men and these bodies just Tuesday
like
they were
flies.
fine.
Yep.
And then the following Friday you never saw them again. And we've been creating. I'm not gonna let all that art die. And no one was art integral then. The integrity. What's integrity? People still aren't integral. You know what I mean?
That part.
They just the platforms and stuff that we have now help keep people accountable. But we worked on it. You're gone. Well, I'm keeping this. You know what I mean? And it just, yeah, it's scary to think about all that we lost and how do we keep this alive and keep this going.
Yeah.
So it's
you want to carry that legacy with you, and you want something to kind of like a paper trail of like how things came from and where they're continuing to going. Exactly. And that's why like I think what I'm grateful for nowadays is that we have the power of the internet, we have the power of social media and things like that are out there versus I'm a 90s kids where like the VCR and the cassettes and all them things that like those are what we had as memories, right?
And that's how I learned.
That's how I learned too. Exactly. So that's how that part comes in. But I definitely agree with you on that. But speaking of just like how the forefront of everyone's career, the most part of the OGs that I've spoken to, everybody mentions Blaze. Everybody mentions the work that they've done and made that space and created that space for dancers in the city, for Black people to be in these rooms. How important was that for you then, and how important is it for you now to continue that?
It was vital because they were Black women. They were Caribbean women. They were women who spoke the language that I understood. They were women who reminded me of the women that I grew up with. I grew up in a household full of women. I was the only boy. At one point, there was like 9 women living in this house with me, 1, right? So, finding people in the industry that looked like people that I knew and spoke the language that I spoke to made my transition into it very, very easy and very comfortable. And I loved how they championed for women of color in particular, right? It's a big thing now, but like they were fighting this fight from the beginning. And no matter how I feel about them now or how they feel about me, the utmost respect to those women for creating the pathway and the segue for me and creating a standard for me to maintain. You will very rarely find a job that I'm working on where there is not at least two black and or POC bodies represented. And I have fought for that. And I fought against the gender norms and the standards of what beauty is. Like I advocated for the dancers who I felt like not only deserved the platform and the space to be seen, but I knew once they were, it would elevate the way people see other folks that look like them. You know what I mean? I love dark skinned women. I will love dark skinned women until the day that I die. And I will advocate for dark skinned women continuously because for so long, even growing up, I knew that light skinned girls were considered the standard of beauty, right? And I was like, but you don't see all this beautiful chocolate over here to your left? And sitting in castings and being involved in the process, I've been able, and then becoming a choreographer, I also was able to be like, this is the girl I want to hire. Like, oh, well, I've heard stupid shit like, it'll be hard to light her. I said, well, then adjust your lighting.
Duh.
I mean, that's the purpose of it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, lame excuses, like, it'll be hard to light her. No, it won't. You just have to get the right lighting designer who knows how to do their job to light all skin tones.
Which isn't hard at all.
At all.
Go off.
P.S.
Like,
but they've never had to do that before because they're used to everybody being between this tone and this tone. They're not used to this. Much less this yapatia because my knuckles are darker than the rest of my hand. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like they're just not accustomed to it.
They're not accustomed to it.
And they don't want to do the additional work. And I'm not someone who's ever shied away from doing the additional work to get the product that I want. So it's like vital. They were instrumental in it. I look at my years with Blaze as like industry college. Like I went to college with these women and they educated me and they connected me and they informed me and I learned so much. A lot of people might not know this, but like I started choreographing professionally because of Jay. She would teach her dropping classes on Saturday. She had like a beginner class and then her regular class. And she didn't want to teach the beginner class. And she was like, here, teach this class.
Wow.
Because I was going anyways. I went for both classes. Like I was adamant about being the best dancer I could be. And training underneath this woman that I admired. So I was like, yeah. And she was like, I don't want to teach this class. You teach it. And I was like, work. And the first class I ever taught was Can You Keep Up? Destiny's Child at the Harborfront Center, downtown Toronto.
Wow.
First professional class I ever taught.
Wow.
Jay Blaze.
That's what I love to hear. Like as you know, as someone like and like the people that I'm around, I love to hear names like that, and I love to see that it's Black people.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring, and that's kind of like what pushes me for when I'm doing choreography work or when I'm looking for dancers and things like that. I just know what the standard was because of how I was treated.
Right.
Right. And because I was treated that way and I was taught that way because I listened and I'm a coachable dancer, I made sure that I executed what was installed in me. I made sure that I put it onto others.
Same.
And so I don't want that to change and I want that to continue. Sometimes I do see it strays away.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why. Well, all the time. I'm being modest.
Sometimes.
All the time.
Class is no longer about education.
No.
Class is about content and clout. And until we return back to class being about growth and expansion and learning and creating an environment where people can come and mess up and struggle through and not feel the pressure of being recorded and or judged, it won't go back to being about growth. And that's why so many dancers now, A, they don't have stamina. B, they can't retain anything that's not longer than a class combination. And C, ugh. Like where is the chutzpah? Where is the zhuzh? Where is the feeling? Right? And there's a way that you can do that without remixing what's been given to you. Right? There was a generation of people where the individuals started shining through, but as a collective, you still looked like one picture. Where we are now is it's all individual, and like nobody's concerned about the overall picture. Well, my head feels good doing this, so I'm going to do that, even though that's not what was asked of you. And if you don't have instructors, and I'm going to say instructors, not necessarily choreographers, if you don't have instructors who are correcting those behaviors, you show up at auditions throwing your face and whipping your neck around. And I didn't ask for any of that. My favorite thing to do to a girl is make her put her hair in a ponytail, especially if it's all like whippy head. I said, can you put your hair in a ponytail? They flounder because they're relying on this thing. And everybody loves them for it, but I'm like, that's not what I love you, and I want to book you for the job, but I need you not to have all that head happening. And then they can't do it.
Yep.
And then I'm like, oh. So, class culture has drastically changed, and I get it. A lot of people aren't working choreographers, but they want to be, and how they consider themselves working choreographers is by teaching 19 classes a week. And no tea, make your money, do what you have to do. But if you're teaching the next generation of dancers who are ultimately going to end up coming to casting calls and auditions to work with the me's of the world, and they're not prepared. I'm someone who reads resumes, honey. I'll read the resume and be like, oh, you trained with this person? Oof. And then you start seeing the common thread. I got invited to some showcases a couple years ago, and I'm watching these dancers, and I'm like, I would hire none of them. Your training program is failing because none of these folks are hireable. And to my point, I don't see any of these dancers from any of those training programs working.
Sip it. Sip.
So dancers, my note to you is be careful where you're investing not just your time, but your money and your energy, because these people are driving BMWs.
Ooh, sip it again.
And you can't get booked on a job to step touch. There's a problem there, right? Like, and I get it. And again, Toronto, the Canadian industry is hard. However, don't just throw a training program together so that you can pay your rent if you're not actually equipping these people with skills that are going to book them jobs.
Ooh, it's like I'm feeling the spirit.
And you can insert whatever training program you want to in any of these comments. Please. What did they say? What do you guys say? Get at us in the comments?
Yeah. Put it below.
Yeah, put it below. Get into the comments. You know
what? Oh God, you went everywhere, and it's just like pew pew pew, and I'm just.
You should have a notepad because I done lost my train of thought like 3 times. I was like, well, yeah.
No, okay. I want to get into everything because everything you said is so important. I think the class structure, like I can tell you why I stopped taking classes. I used to go to your classes, your heels class. I believe it was Monday nights, Wednesdays.
Yep.
Okay, I knew it was one of those days, and it was you taught a heels class at Joy, and I remember I was going into that class, and I was going there every week after I was training with that company, and I remember I learned so much, and I wasn't there to be filmed. You didn't take out your phone to film me. You didn't, we didn't have a cool tripod and somebody going in and out like this for the Instagram reels.
Not the videographers having choreography. That's the thing.
Yeah, they have a whole choreographies, and the choreographer or instructor turned videographer now for the studio, but whatever, go ahead. So, Like, so now I didn't have that. I came to class to learn.
Yeah.
When I was going to classes at OIP before, everything just dismantled, I was taking classes every single Wednesday, and I was there. I was taking an intermediate class, and then I took the advanced class, and I remember at the
Right, because you
time
worked your way up.
I worked my way up, and I took both classes because I felt like I needed to do both. And I was there taking classes, and I remember my last class ever at OIP was with Luther. And Luther came in 2012. I'll never forget it. And we danced to a Rick Ross song, and I was in a group with me, Peter, Taryn, oh my gosh, Mel was in that group, like a whole bunch of dancers, and like nobody was there to film. Like we were there to learn,
To dance.
and to dance,
To stretch.
and
to
to
grow.
struggle.
Yes.
And to make mistakes, and nobody was there to do whatever. Like I had to sneak a video of me doing that choreography,
Right.
because that's when Luther had his camcord.
Listen.
And he would just come through with the camcord because that's what he used, right?
Listen.
We weren't allowed to film.
Film my work?
Not allowed. Mm-mm.
You want to film my work?
No.
So what you want to do is film my stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
We weren't
And
allowed
didn't
to do
ask my
that.
permission.
I didn't ask for permission.
No. Wild.
We weren't allowed to run and put our phone up at the front while they're teaching. Like
While
we
they're
weren't-
talking,
No.
giving important instruction. You got your bag for go draw out phone.
There's no class etiquette being taught right now. Nobody has class etiquettes. When you sit down and think about it, they don't have it. I was taught from a kid at studio dance, comp rec world till now is a big Oman. I must stand and listen. I taught my body language. If I cross my arms, that means I'm not being.
Yeah, you're closed
I'm
off.
closed off. I'm
Right.
closing off. So my hand's always behind my back, not
Yes.
in my head, making sure I'm making eye contact.
Come on.
These are things that I was taught when I was 10, 11 years old
Listen.
that I still have now.
Listen.
So when I see people not doing that now, I don't want to go take class.
And I'm just like, who trained you? Like, when you go out and you see bad children, you're like, who is your
Who's
mother?
your mother? Yeah.
That's what class is giving.
Yes.
And same, like I love class, but I can't go to class now because everyone's going to be in the class trying to compete with me.
Yes.
Because, you're Hollywood Jade and you're this, that, and the third and blah, blah, blah. No, I was taking class with people who have been on tours with Backstreet Boys, done music videos for people like Montel Jordan, Missy Elliott, and they still come and standing beside me in class being like, yo, what is this part? How do I get this? What? Like, it's just different. Like there's an energy of elitist, but that also comes from the fact that there isn't a working class of dancers here. And the jobs are so far few in between. And as a working dancer, you can also get booked on a movie with someone who's been dancing for 2 months.
Yep. And we all have to fight for the same zombies. So,
Honey,
like,
not me. I shaved my face for the second one and I said never again. I said, Disney, let me know if you need a football coach who can hit a step, honey. Or the older brother who comes to pick them up from school. Do you know? I was like, not that. Why a football coach? I just don't know.
the cute uncle. Why not? No, but it's true.
Why did I say football coach?
I don't know.
Nobody would believe that.
I wouldn't believe you doing a football coach either. It'd have to be like some type of like musical, because that's the only way that's
Right.
making sense.
I'm the drama teacher. I need more spirit.
That's exactly how
That's funny.
I feel. Like when I see all these things, I feel that exact same way. And
Yes.
it's like it makes my head hurt. And I know for a fact that like everybody will say things, well, you need this for your resume, or now people go to your Instagram to check your stuff out. And sure, great. But at the same time, it's like I'm more focused on what I'm putting on my actual physical paper of my resume. That is what I'm more focused on. I'm more focused on the person that I'm going to become so that I can become memorable for somebody so that they can say, Cheyenne Shantae, oh, yes, I liked working with her, or this or that. Like, I want to make sure that I leave a lasting impression on you so that no matter what happens, you don't need to go to my Instagram to go and do anything. It's in the moment that we have, and people don't focus on that anymore. It's just about what I can take from you.
Baby.
What I can get from you.
Baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Baby. Baby. You said lasting impression, and that's exactly it. That is exactly it. I tell my agent and my manager all the time, I'm like, if you get me in the room, I will book the job. Because this energy is undeniable. And the reason it is undeniable is because I am sure of who I am and what I have to offer. The problem with so many of these dancers and the industry right now is it's all curated.
Yeah.
You can make yourself look like the best dancer on social media. You get into the room and you can't rub two stones together. No. And that's why I'm an advocate for like in-person auditions, and I love having auditions, and I realize like a lot of people don't know how to audition. Auditioning is a skill set. You want to know why the same people are booked on the job continuously? Because they know how to audition. And then once they book the job, they know how to show up for the job.
Yep.
And you're right. It's just a different time. And like, and again, I'm not here to back in my day. You know what I mean? Like that's not the purpose of what I'm saying and why I say all of this. I say all of it to just inform people that there's other ways of doing this. And those other ways have worked for multiple people for multiple years. I know guys who are like in their mid 40s still dancing for J-Lo.
Yes.
But they can do that because they've been trained and conditioned to do so. Dancers nowadays mush up every 3 seconds. And the reason they're mush up is because whoever's instructing them isn't equipping them correctly to do the things that they're being asked to execute.
They don't have proper technique.
If you are in a heels class and you walk in and the first thing they do is say 5, 6, 7, 8, exit. You need to be warmed up. You need to be prepared. They need to prepare you. The reason warm-ups exist is to ready the students for the information you're going to give them. Warm-up isn't just so their bodies can be warm. You're warming them up so that they are ready to receive the information you're going to provide them. But you don't know that because you weren't trained well. You are unqualified to be training other people. So stop it.
Lad, weird. Holy, there's so many ugly faces I'm making because I'm like, speak on it. Like, speak. It's so true that you say that. Because listen, I'm getting the sound effect. I promise you. And I'm gonna use yours.
You just record me. I'm gonna wet my throat and get a real good one for you.
Okay, no problem. Because it's true that you say that because if you were privileged enough to take
That
Hollywood's
very thing.
class, we always did a warm up that he would kill us in, but it was a good warm up. Then we would put our shoes on. Then we would do across the floor.
And if there was time, then a combo.
But when I tell you the across the floor felt like the combination,
Honey.
because it was 5 different ways to walk, and it was so needed because it's just you forget how simple it is to walk and how simple it is to forget how to do it incorrectly.
Baby.
So we did across the floor walks, we did backwards, we did diagonals, we did straight, we did sideways, we did everything.
Transferring your weight, understanding how to sit in a bevel. What does it feel like to come out of a bevel? Where is your upper body positioning? What's happening with your face? Is the tension in your neck or is the tension, come on.
Let me tell you something. Shanae's left, right. And please believe if we're walking down to the right, we're walking down to the left, opposite way. And we figure it out on our own because he will be like, other side.
Other side.
And that's that.
And because that's how I was trained, even in hip hop, it was like, no, we're going to do a hip hop across the floor. I was like, come on. Let's go. It teaches you how to learn. And we could talk about this till we're blue in the face. Moral of the story is dancers, if you are going to invest in training programs and classes, do research on who you're taking class from and dig deeper than their last social media post or their last performance at whatever free showcase they did where they got all of their friends to come and do their style of dance. Right?
That part.
The true testament is if you can get strangers to find your pocket.
That was that part right there.
Next subject.
Oh God. The microphone's on fire. It's on fire. Man, it's so important that we talk about these things because it needs to be said. And I feel that I like the fact that it comes from somebody who's such a staple in this industry as you are. And it's not just heels. Anything that you put Hollywood in, he can do. And please believe he will run spins and dances around you.
The
Okay.
only thing somebody might have a one up on me with is ballet because I'm just not built for that.
No,
My
I think you can get away with it.
I mean, from here up, absolutely. I understand. I will give you all of the things, but child, don't look too closely at the feet.
Don't look too closely at the feet. Do
I
not.
appreciate that. And but that was my mandate for myself. I was like, I love musical theater. I love the Fred Astaire's, the like I love the triple threats. People who could sing, act, and dance. And I'm like, I want to be able to excel in this world at as many things as is humanly possible, right? So I was taking classes from everybody and studying different styles of dance, and that has informed the way that I create now. There's very few environments that I find myself in where I feel completely out of depth and don't have at least a minimal vocabulary in to be able to explain it and or bring in someone who is a specialist at that to help me bring my vision to fruition. So diversify your training.
That's exactly what needs to happen. And there's not a lot of training companies out there right now.
Thank God.
Yeah, because I don't feel like you know what? Let me just say it. There are way too many training companies because too many of you are training or calling yourself instructors and choreographers to train dancers who are not qualified to train at
Hey,
all.
but it's money, right? And I get it. I get it. The desire to be. We were talking earlier about.
Mm-hmm.
I understand now what it means to be a working choreographer. I literally go by God's grace and my hard work and manifestation. I go from job to job to job to job. Where it used to be, I have a job. Okay, now I got to go teach classes for 2, 3 months. Oh, got a next job. Oh, a next job popped up out of nowhere. Back to teaching classes. I don't have time in my schedule right now to teach classes because I am continuously
Amen.
working. And we give thanks to all of the alignment of the stars that it has worked out this way for me. And I know that that's not the reality for everybody else. However, the people who suffer from the lack of qualified instructors and the lack of qualified choreographers is the next generation of dancers, right? Like I'm working on professional jobs educating dancers on etiquette, on how to be on set and how to do this. And I'm really realizing I'm like these kids just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm frustrated because I'm like this is stuff that was commonplace. Like there was no joke. They were like, "You are not you. You are representing me."
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've just become so individualistic, and there is no overarching picture. And I implore us to get back to seeing beyond just yourself and realizing like you are one of eight or one of two. If it's just two of you, the two of them don't need to look alike.
Yep.
And it is not my job as the choreographer to get you and your opposite to find the balance with each other. I can suggest it, but you actually have to do the work, right? But people haven't been conditioned that way. So, I just implore everybody to like dig deeper than the hype.
Yeah, and it's also too like you say that I know that somebody recently came um here. They moved out of Toronto and they came back, and I was talking about it with one of my friends. I was like, "Yo, like somebody is doing a class, and like they're charging a ridiculous amount of money," and I'm just like, "Why? Like, why is it so much money?" And it's like it's literally like it's a lot of money.
What's a
Okay?
lot of money? And how long is the class?
It's 3 days.
Okay.
And it's an hour each day. And
Okay.
it's $195.
Why them couldn't just put it up on one deal?
Yeah.
You want me to show up over the course of 3 days for an hour? 1
Even
hour.
if it was for 2 hours.
1 hour.
Yeah. 1 hour.
Singular. I mean, more power to this child who's getting these kids to pay this.
So my thing is that when like so I asked the person and their reason was like, well, you know, their flights, the hotel, everything, like their ticket here was really expensive to fly. So I'm like, I immediately said, but I didn't ask you to come here. I didn't ask you to come back. Thankful you're teaching a class.
Love this for you.
But what that got to do with me?
See, and this is, and I get that, but again, like we are now, and kudos to us, dance industry, finally treating the entertainment business side of it and taking it more seriously. But an hour, so 3 hours for 100 and what? $195 plus plus tax.
Individual, like.
I mean, hey, what would I spend $195 on? It's really I'm trying to do the math, but the math's not mathing.
It's not math
for me personally. And I'm sure that this person probably lived in LA and gained a lot of knowledge that they want to share and spread. But like, what am I retaining in a group setting in an hour?
Not a lot, nothing at all, if I say the least. I especially, like, you want to know what? If I'm going to be completely honest with you, because this is my platform, so I can blur out names. I just don't get why it's that much money. So the person is.
Hold on.
Yeah, and there it is, soundbite. Yeah, it's that person that is charging that much money. And
I have worked in this industry as a professional since the early 2000s, and I have never in my life, with my extensive resume and the multiple rooms that I have been in with multiple legendary people, we're talking, if we're going to run through it, Jay Blaze, Luther Brown, Fatima Robinson, Ebony Nichols, Jamal Sims. These are people who I have access to and communicate with, most of them fairly regularly. I have trained with, worked with, assisted multiple of these people, and I have never charged $195 for a damn thing. So look, zoom in, okay? $195 for what? For you to come give these people other people's stuff? Can you please highlight a job that you've choreographed yourself that you didn't take from somebody else?
That part.
And I'm just, and honestly, I'm done. That's disrespectful and it's rude. $195, especially when you've worked here as a dancer, and you know how hard it is for a dancer to make $195. And you are going to come and teach 1 hour classes over the course of 3 days. Mm-hmm. Even if it was a 3 hour workshop for $195 on one day, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. I have to get dressed, nyam food, commute to wherever you are.
Gas.
3 days. Mm-hmm. And gas is at 150 something right now.
156.
Listen, actually it's at 149 out here. I'm definitely filling up before I go home. Do you know what I mean? And I'm saying all of this, and I love that we can go into that lighthearted moment because I am not emotionally attached. Anyone who knows me knows that me and said party, we went our separate ways. And again, sincerely, from me, I wish them the best of luck in all that they do, because they were once a member of my company.
Yes,
so them doing well is a reflection on me.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. I don't want anybody for a second to believe that this $195 price point came from Yasa. Okay? All right? Not if your goal is to educate and advance. Your flight was expensive, so basically you're coming here to teach a workshop so you can fly home?
Pretty much.
Nastiness.
Yeah.
Nastiness.
Mm-hmm.
Nasty. Yeah. That's disgusting. And dancers, I hope you are. This will probably come out after it's already happened, but I hope you tell us. Get into the comments. Let us know if it was worth $100. I'm what?
Yeah.
What have you done?
Nothing.
And honey, I'm sitting here as a nominated choreographer for multiple things. I have done international shows with big people, movies.
Mm-hmm.
I am the resident choreographer of Canada's Drag Race.
Amen.
And celebrity guest judge.
Amen.
On multiple seasons.
Amen.
I have worked with the elite of Canada. I was Julie Black's choreographer and creative director for 4 years. Divine Brown, Gary Beals, Keisha Shante.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What have you done? Other than tech people money.
Yeah.
So you took the people their money to get the visa. Now you'll come back to take more money from the people. I cannot. And I won't.
Oh, Lord. Yo, we're...
What?
Let me tell you something. Yeah.
Okay. Last thing I'll say about this. Point me in the direction of someone who's trained underneath her who is thriving in their career.
No one.
I can point you in the direction of multiple people who've trained underneath me who are thriving in their careers.
Oh, so can I.
So.
Oh, I thought we were going to name them.
Y'all don't come to my class, but y'all will pay $100 for go learn other people things. Woo. To go learn things that they learned from multiple other people. All right. Next topic.
Yeah, that's my okay. Yeah, next topic.
195 Canadian dollar.
Yeah,
not Jamaican dollars.
No.
not Monopoly money.
No,
Jesus.
No.
All right, girl.
Has the nerve
let me know your secret.
Has the nerve. To say,
has she not burned enough bridges here already?
No, not enough.
Apparently,
not enough. Not enough. I've made it like I'm not a person.
My flight was expensive. so is my rent.
So is my rent. So is gas.
So is the cost of living. Them I try sell chicken breast for all $30. And no. Is this not the same girl who had ambulance waiting because girls that mash up themselves in her show?
Yep.
I cannot.
Yep.
Nope, an ambulance has never left my show.
No, never, ever. No, it's honestly like that was my thing. So like my question at first was why, but when I see that, and then that's what's being inputted in this world of dance where people think that is what the expectation is because of that price. So you feel like, well, I'm getting something of value for that much. No, you're getting ripped off. Like, that's the simplest way to put it. There's absolutely no way that I would pay that much money to do anything along those lines.
I'm still trying to sit here and think about what I would spend $195 on.
Not even my love for Chris Brown would be able to make you pay that.
I don't even buy shoes for that much money. And anyone who knows me knows that I have shoes from 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I care my things. Like, and I cannot.
I can't imagine what I would spend that much money on either. And it's ridiculous.
For an hour.
For an hour. And that's
other people's stuff.
Hollywood.
What has she done? What jobs have you choreographed? What are your qualifications for
It's opportunist.
Being a dancer on multiple jobs does not a choreographer make.
I wouldn't even say that because even like that was a lot of the reason why not just this person, but that's why a lot of people but a lot of people leave Toronto because they weren't booking as much as they would have liked to.
Fair.
But when I feel like, to me, like how you said, you can't burn bridges and you have to be memorable and you have to leave a lasting impression. Something that I was taught, something that you have taught, something that you know and everybody knows. Well, everybody should know. But for me, it's also a lot of people in Toronto who like to show their side of selfishness. And if I seize an opportunity, I'm going to take it. And that even means if I'm going to step on a friend, somebody that I called a sister, somebody I called a family member, and, sisterly love and dap it all the time. And then as soon as I get the opportunity to step on that person who brought me in that room, that says to me more about you as a person why I will never put money in your pocket.
You see the thing you asked me earlier about the skincare and why I'm aging backwards? It's because I don't hold malice in my heart to nobody. And there's multiple people who I have single-handedly put on. And I'm not asking you. I don't need you to confirm. I know what I know. Okay? And even with ooh, even without any thank yous, I don't regret doing any of those things. Reason being is because I did it from a pure heart. My intentions are always good. I'm not a negative person. I don't that's not how I was raised. That's not who my mother is. That's not who I am. And subsequently when I have my daughter, that is not who she will be either. I think it's important to even in this industry that can be nasty to decide who you want to be. And I decided very early on that I was not going to be that. And I've done everything I can to maintain that integrity. Not everybody's built that way. Absolutely. And you got to know that and you got to understand that. And like watch people's actions because their actions will dictate who they are. And these individuals and their actions, if y'all don't see it, there's no hope for you because you're choosing to willfully be ignorant.
Yes. You're choosing to ignore.
And if sick na cure, doctor na cure.
That part. That part.
Because my doctor's practice will continue. All right. Call me Hollywood MD.
Listen, I'm telling you. So yeah, that was that. But interesting to say the least. Let's get back to all your accomplishments because you named them all, like, you know, some of them. Sorry, some. Whoa, sorry. Some of them.
Yeah, I even be forgetting. Like people be reminding me, like, oh yeah, we did this job together. I'm like, oh yeah,
that was me. Yeah.
I've been working. I've been working and grateful for it.
Yes. So for right now, what I think has been more of something that's been more popularized and something that's more current is Canada's Drag Race.
Yes.
How did that opportunity come about that you can share?
I love this. I made that opportunity happen for myself. Okay. I am proactive. I have always been proactive in my career. And once I knew that Drag Race was happening, I was like, they're going to need a choreographer. And I got the email address that the drag queens were submitting to. And I sent an email, said, hey, my name is Hollywood Jade. I am Canadian, blah, 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 blah. And I am the choreographer for Canada's Drag Race. I get an email back. They're like, can I call you? I'm like, sure. She calls me and I'm talking to her about me. And she's like, I'm the wrong person to send this to, but I'm going to make sure the person who needs to see this gets this. Sent it to Heather Morin, who is the casting director. Big up Heather. She just won another CSA for casting for Canada's Drag Race. Boop, boop, boop. And Heather reached out to me. She's like, do you have footage of you talking on camera? I'm like, yes. When do you need it by? She's like, tomorrow would be great. So I took out my laptop and I Doug search, Teef, borrow, find, YouTube, rip any videos of me talking on camera. Some were from when AIM won Best Dance Crew. And then when they brought me back, when Urban S won Best Dance Crew. And then I was a guest judge on there. I just spliced together this thing on my laptop, sent off to her. She's like, this is perfect. I'm like, look at God.
Won't he do it?
Right? Yeah. And I basically went through the paces. And then Mike Bickerton, who was the showrunner and executive producer of season 1, who, funny enough, and I'm going to share this because I think it's important, he was like, I know you don't know who I am, but I've been following your career for a long time. Wow. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I remember when you auditioned for season 1 of So You Think You Can Dance Canada, which must have been like 2007 or 2008. And he was like, when they cut you, I was gobsmacked because I couldn't understand how they couldn't see that you were a star. And he's like, it makes me unbelievably proud to be the person to tell you that you've been approved by RuPaul, World of Wonder, Crave, and Bell Media to be the resident choreographer of Canada's Drag Race.
Won't he do it?
This is a man that I didn't see, but saw me all those years ago and followed me to this point. Integrity. Do you know what I'm saying? And he said, everybody has nothing but great things to say about you. I get this all the time. I just choreographed this all-black opera for Canadian stage called Of the Sea, and it was directed by Philip Aiken, and he wanted a meeting with me. He's like, I need to see if what everybody's saying is true. and we'd have the meeting. I'm like, so was it true? He said, I'm happy to report that it is.
Absolutely.
He's like, you are as good as everybody says you are. And that means way more to me than $195. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to figure out what I would spend $195 on plus tax.
Yeah, that's Canadian dollars, you know. Holy.
Girl.
Like,
It couldn't be US
No.
because Jesus. But yeah, that's how Drag Race came about. And then I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe I am the only resident choreographer. Every other franchise has had different choreographers come in. RuPaul has had Jamal, Todrick, Travis Wall. You know, they've Miguel right now. I know UK's had multiple ones. I think I am the only one. What did Beyonce say? I'm one of one.
Boy,
I'm number one.
what good
I'm the only one.
outside.
All right.
Amen.
Yeah, so that's how Drag Race came about. And I shared that backstory with Mike because it just really goes to show you, like, if you are about what you say you're about, people are paying attention.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And to the karma of CheyTea, tea minute away a day, but your karma is your karma. And my karma just happens to be good karma because I've done nothing but put positive energy into this world. All because you stink and tell you about your what's it not. It's coming from a place of love.
My karma is beautiful.
Honey. And that's why this skin is sitting.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Period.
And they can't take it.
No, they cannot.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that's really like cool to share because it's like what I said earlier. I'm leaving that lasting impression.
Period.
In that room. Just because you didn't book that room doesn't mean that you didn't leave that impression for someone to come and be like, I followed you since then. And that is super important. And I want to reiterate it again to everybody out there so that you can hear clearly and hear me loudly. You need to make sure when you walk into the room with respect, integrity, and coachable skills. As soon as you show all those skills, you don't know, there could be a panel of 7 and at least one of 7 is all you need to remember you and snatch you for the next booking.
Listen, I remember I went with Jade to a university. She was teaching something and I just went for the day and I'm in there and AC Mensa was one of the people in the class and I was like, it's her. Jay's like, really? I'm like, she's the one. Fast forward, saw AC at choreographer's ball or something. She came up and reintroduced herself. I'm like, oh my God, I totally remember you. Like, blah, 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 blah. And we just started working together from there. She went on her first Canadian tour. She did multiple music videos. She made a lasting impression, you know, and AC, as far as I know, is doing very well in her own right. And big up to her making the impression she made from the jump. Do you know what I mean? It's usually very instantaneous with me. Like, I know right away. I'm like, yup, or no. And everyone's like, well, I'm like, no. I've been wrong, I think, 3 times.
Very modest.
Listen, I've been wrong 3 times. Listen, like, Marosha, killing the game.
Yes,
the moment I saw her, I was like, hey, boo. Yep, it's you, you know, and I can see past where people are. And I think it's a gift as not just a person, but as not just a choreographer, sorry, but as a person. It's a gift that I can see people beyond where they presently are. Yes. Like I see people fully realized. Now, sometimes in that realization, their mind goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and they lose track of what got them there in the first place. But for the most part, I'm on it, honey. And people say the same thing about me. I was in LA in January. I went for the screening of an episode that I worked on for this TV show called Accused that was directed by the Billy Porter.
Amen.
And I had lunch with my mentor and I was just catching her up on everything. She's like, I'm so proud of you. She's like, I saw you in rehearsal for Hairspray, which was filmed in 2006. It is 2023, okay? She said, I saw you in rehearsal and I just knew there was something about you and I just like snatched you up. And I worked repeatedly with this woman since 2007. till literally the pandemic. You know, I was the assistant choreographer on a movie she choreographed called The U.S. versus Billie Holiday for Lee Daniels. Are you hearing the names? And me
told
not
you the
charge
resume
nobody.
was light, and
And
you're
me
not
not
charging
charge nobody
$195.
$195 for the nothing. Could you imagine? And maybe here, devil's advocate, because I want to. Maybe I'm undervaluing myself, but I just can't see how you who no do nothing but be a dancer and or assistant in a room with great people. Great people. Like I'm certain the resume as reads lovely.
Yeah, of course.
But $195?
Those
I had to grab the pillow. Girl, you should have ended with this because I'm not gonna let this
I know you're
go.
not gonna let it go.
The tagline for this should be $195.
For what?
For what? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
I'm saying, I mean, there's a lot of that's going on in the city that
I thought it had died, but
No.
I mean, I guess they haven't been here for a while, so they I guess they thought that this was still a thing.
Listen, they were doing it virtually too, and I didn't understand that part either. So, anyways,
Yeah, that virtual class thing. I took a class, and I was like, this is not for
oh
me.
no, it's ghetto.
I need the energy. I need to look to my left and see somebody floundering, and then look to my right and see somebody killing. And be like, okay, step it up.
Yeah, that's what I needed to, because it's so funny that like right before the panorama and everything happened, there was like a few jobs I just got back to back, and Black Diamond Ball was one of them, and then Self-Made. The Story of Madame C.J. Walker was right after, and then the panorama. So like everybody was like, the people that I was able to work with were like all aligned, and I was so happy I was able to work with you on that. Give thanks for booking me, please. Thank you very much.
Listen,
okay?
I actually was gonna say this earlier. Like you talked about leaving a lasting impression. I remember you came and auditioned for my Andrina show, and I wanted to hire you so bad because you had been around for a long time and we know each other and we're familiar with each other. We had worked with each other in like dance in other people's pieces together. And I see you and I saw you and I'm like, and it was so close. It was so close. I just had to look again, bigger picture.
The bigger picture, yeah.
Right? And I remember being like, the next time I get her in a room, I know I'm gonna hire her. And I think the next time you were able to come in was for the Black Diamond Ball.
Yeah.
Listen.
And I felt that on you, from you, because you told me as soon as I came in the room.
I was like, yeah.
You said, you better get it done.
Come on.
Those were your words.
And I always say this to you, like, and as anyone who auditions for me and like shows that they care, I want to leave you with something, right? And I'm like, hey, keep doing whatever you're doing because it's working. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that stuff's invaluable. Audition for Lady Gaga and Lorianne Gibson. I came real close, honey. That audition, I need to make this thing into a miniseries because it was literally like one of the most epic auditions in Toronto. And it came down to the wire, and Leon, I'm not going to say his last name, he ended up booking the job over me. Yeah. Right? And I wasn't sad. I wasn't mad. I was disappointed, but not in not booking the job, but not being able to be a part of something that I wanted so badly. Yeah. Like, I mean, Gaga came out with Love Game, and I wasn't a fan of her before, but Love Game I loved. And I was like, oh, this I can do.
Absolutely.
Honey, so I started going to the gym, like the body was right. I showed up in my little tank top, like titties up. Like Lorianne came in the building and walked up the stairs, and I was in the staircase with Too Bad. And she lowered her glasses. She said, and put her glasses back on and went inside. I said, perfect.
That booked.
Do you know what I mean? But like it was such an epic moment. And I went to her after and I was like, thank you so much. I'm like, what could I have done more to stay in the room? She said, show up. She's like, if I could have hired all Black boys, you would have been in the cut already. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I took that as victory. I'm like, I did what needed to be done. This job just wasn't my job. It wasn't
for you, yeah. Yeah.
You know, and as it all unfolded, I ended up building another relationship with an artist that I'm still working with to this day. That would have been a one job Now I've had
This is
multiple jobs.
Yeah, you multiplied it.
Exactly.
Turned one into a
So,
dozen.
again, the doing the work in the room.
Yeah. And there's also a lot of things that you've also let be known in your classes. If you again had the privilege to go to his classes, you taught me how to put my resume together. You taught me exactly. You said, "Listen, child, this is what we don't do." Okay. You said this is what we don't do, and you said you're not gonna come with a little 2x4 picture like this. It is not gonna be a selfie on your Facebook because back then it was Facebook.
Yep.
It's not gonna be a selfie on your Facebook or your now Instagram or MySpace. No, honey. You're gonna go and get a professional
photo printed. Done. Yeah.
Pay your money for it the same way you can buy the nice shoes you have on. Save the money for
and your fingernail always done.
That's exactly what you said.
Yeah, but you see, and again, no matter how it ended, right? Blaze was college for me. And I remember watching something years ago, and Denzel Washington said, "You will never see a U-Haul following a hearse."
Yeah, wow.
And I got it immediately. Usually it takes people a second to figure it out, but if you figured it out, put it in the comments. I don't know if you know, but we're trying to engage you in the comments.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, yeah, he said it and it clicked immediately for me. I'm like, all that I acquire now, if I die, it dies with me.
Yes.
That information that I relayed to you was information that was given to me because, child, my first audition, I showed up with my resume that said Pizza Nova on it. Okay.
Pizza Nova.
Yeah. Pizza Nova. And my newspaper route that I did in Ajax. Like, so I am not perfect. But regular work, I didn't know what a damn dance resume was. And I think it's important for people to understand, like, this year generation of dancers, we didn't have anything. Mm-hmm. Y'all have all this access. Do you know how I found Do That? I was watching The Mix one day and they performed and I wrote down the phone number on a piece of paper and called and this is how there was no Google.
Yeah. There was
no Google.
There was no Instagrams.
None of it.
There wasn't no follow me. It was write down the number or go to the class and shake a hand.
Right. Yeah. And they educated me and they informed me and they gave me history and it is, as a product of that environment, it is my mandate to do the same for people. And now you know how to do a resume.
I sure do.
Do you know? And I read Kids for Filth all the time, especially now because there is no excuse for you not to know what a resume should look like.
Let me tell you something. Now that I'm in my casting bag, because but I'm always a dancer first. Amen. I remember I posted it on my Instagram. I remember you commented on me. You said, "Child, the horror stories I have by listening to you." You said, "Don't get me started." I have now been privileged enough to be in a space where I can have the opportunity to put other dancers in the room.
Work.
There are a lot of dancers that I root for. But the simplest things as communication and proper etiquette in your communication is so key and so vital to your career that some of you don't even realize that you don't even get booked simply on how you approach me. That's simple as that. If I don't see a good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or good night at the body, I don't want to talk to you.
Delete.
I don't see it. If you don't know how to follow simple instructions on submission details.
My girl. Subject line.
The subject line. You need to please put what you're submitting for. Submission for whatever it is. In the body of the text, please acknowledge who you are messaging.
Wasara, when the description says subject line, blah, 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 blah. And you just send me the source of email? No.
With nothing in it, delete it. I've come to that point now where I have to have done that.
Do we need subtitles for this episode now?
No, they're all right.
I'm joking.
They definitely understand because when me and Ali are here, trust me. But no, I have to do that because people don't know how to submit properly. Yeah. And then it's like, because you think we're friends, I've had people respond to my stories talking about holla if you need me.
No, we're good. We're good.
I didn't
We're good.
We're good.
We are good. Our quota has been met. We will be accepting no more applicants today. Don't call us. We won't call you. No. No. I'm sorry. It's the entitlement.
Yo.
Holla if you need me. So I'm not even worth you drafting a damn email. No. What did Auntie Deb say? Come on.
Let me tell you something. I've literally had to go through it, and I remember. And again, it always comes from who you were taught, and it always. I swear, I'm not saying this because you're sitting here today, but I promise you, it always comes back to you. I'm like, Hollywood would kick me if I ever did something like this,
honey. I just ignore. Swipe.
Delete. And even like when you've had stuff that you were looking for dancers for, I've never approached you.
Honey, we've known each other decades plus, okay? And we'll still send in the submission. Mm-hmm. Big Marosha, my good friend. Like, I mean, me and this girl ball on the phone. She knows all sorts of intimate details about my life. Me about her, same way. Yeah. If I put out a submission and she's for the job, she submits. And she has my phone number. She knows my mother and still submits. Who is you?
Holla if you need me.
Who is you? Me and you could have jokey jam last night if me wake up the next morning and I put out the submission. Submit.
Hollywood.
And for the record, I don't jookie jam with entertainers.
Oh, woo!
Because that never ends well for anybody. And then all of a sudden, everybody uncomfortable around the tone because you couldn't listen here. All right. All right. Baby, I can't tell you how many times I book people for things and they have to be like, I just want you to know that everything will be cool in the room. I'm like, I didn't expect it not to be. I hired dancers. I didn't bring your personal drama into this.
No, ma'ams. Yeah, that is it's just your approach on things, and I think that should also be something that should be taught. And I've always thought to myself that I wanted to do like some type of session like that, or just like a sit down on how to write a resume, using proper etiquette.
The problem is
your grammar.
The problem is the kids wouldn't show up. They don't want to pay for things that are actually of value to them.
But you're gonna
they would rather pay $195 for mash up them hunkle.
Hey man, I would never charge that much money, but go ahead, do what you gotta do.
I brought Ebony Nichols. Ebony was in Toronto, and I set up a workshop for Ebony Nichols, and I got a space that I thought would be big enough to house everybody. I will send you the photo so you can like insert the photo so you can see the amount of people who showed up to this workshop with Ebony Nichols, who is a renowned dancer. Like, we're talking, you want to talk about a resume? We're talking, I'll say this, Crazy in Love, Beyonce.
Yeah.
They had a national search for dancers, and Ebony is one of the girls in that video. And she had been working extensively prior to that. Mm-hmm. Okay? But we'll just say that. I think there was 6 people.
That's embarrassing.
For me.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing for me. And that was the last one of those that I tried to set up with anybody. I was like, I'm done. I'm done trying to give you guys the information to succeed and give you the access to succeed. All on the dancers will want go hell go live. You don't want to know somebody will live there? You don't want to know someone who's directly connected? But you're going to go take $195 class. Good luck.
Listen, I couldn't.
I really hope I don't sound like a bitter old man.
You don't sound like a bitter old man. No, it's all honesty here, baby. That's what what it sounds like.
Yeah.
We say the things that are in people's minds that they're too afraid to say out loud.
I'm in a frighten.
Yeah.
I'm a God-fearing child and washed and covered in the blood, okay? Favor ain't fair, and I have no fight.
That part. So that's kind of why, like, there's a lot of there's a lot of things why like I don't like there's so much things I want to do. Like right now I started to put myself out there in like teaching privates.
Yes.
And I was always like privy on doing it because I didn't think that I was at a point where I could do that yet.
Fair.
And so I made sure I worked on my training and
Yes.
I went into footnotes and I worked on my vocabulary in hip hop because, yes, I was a hip hop dancer, but my
However,
vocabulary was weak. And I knew that. So I walked into that room and I learned. I learned from Pyro. I learned from Mariano. All of the panorama. We were on the YouTubes and
honey,
Zooms and everything.
she's giving you nuggets,
And I was
foundational nuggets.
that's what because somebody told me how important that was. And I made sure I did that for myself. And then, I came from the studio background. So when it comes to jazz and ballet was my forefront. I wasn't allowed to do anything else if I didn't do ballet when I was dancing.
Work.
I had to complete all my examinations. I've completed everything from pre-primary to advanced foundation, and I have
Come
all
on,
of my
Black
examinations.
ballerina.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
In the Royal Academy of Dance, and then I also got my teacher certificate in British Associate Teachers of Dance in stage and in acro, and I did that at the age of 16. Because I was taught I need to have a certificate, not being self-taught, not teaching my friends, but I need to properly know how to do something to prevent injuries. That's why there's no ambulance at any show that I'll ever dance a part of, because I know how to make sure that somebody knows how to transfer their weight correctly versus doing something incorrectly.
Just have fling themselves on the ground.
Yeah, you need to know how to be able to go through your tendus, going through the balls of your feet, all the way to your extended pointed toe, back through your feet to come down. You need to know how to stand on a demi point before you can go in a shoe. If you can't balance on 2 feet in a demi point, you have no business being in a shoe. So that was one of the reasons why now I said I want to start doing that, because I'm seeing the girlies take these heels classes nowadays, and it's great. Like the person teaching it, good job. But you're not I'm seeing people shaking up their ankles and not being able to do a figure eight and sit properly in their hip and transfer their weight correctly and make sure their weight is not just only in the center so that they're able to transfer back, because that's how you're supposed to be. But you can't be putting pirouettes into routines, and then some people don't even know how to spot. So
Well,
I'm just saying, like, we can't do that. So now I'm trying to give that out to people so that they can know how to do it. Like, focus on your technique first. And
foundation.
it's like, what's kind of sad is that, like, I'm getting a good amount of people, but the people who
Need it?
are not coming to
Right,
me.
because them feel like them above you. It's the same. Listen, I when class culture took over, it sort of became whoever has the most numbers in their classes is the best choreographer. And I've never wanted to be in class or in competition with anybody for teach class. Like,
That part,
what?
yeah.
I'm competing with you for class numbers? No, 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 no. It's either you want this good
Or you
teaching
don't.
or you don't. Right? And whether it's 6 people or 66 people, the quality of what you're being given and what you're being taught does not change.
Absolutely.
And in a set like that for everybody, right? But like, it's foundation. You have to, if your house is built on a solid foundation, tornado, hurricane, earthquake, flood, all sorts of things can come.
You can't break
But
it
it
down.
can't break your foundation. And I think, not think, that way of thinking is a testament as to why I have had the career that I've had thus far and will continue to have moving forward. This phone keeps ringing. I had 3 meetings today about 3 different projects before I got here. And that, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to be like, there was a lot of people doing what I do. And I have no idea what those people are doing now. Some of them, I'm certain, are still working, even though they shouldn't be, because your character dirty.
Ooh.
Okay? And but everybody has caught 2020 amnesia, apparently, and all the sexual stuff just doesn't bother anybody anymore. And I, for one, am not that person. Okay? I don't stand behind it, and I won't support it, because I have sisters, I have a niece, and I have nephews who, whether they want to be in this industry or not, if somebody did some of what I have heard to any one of them, heads would roll.
Why?
And I don't know who it needs to happen to for it to matter, but it needs to matter. and I'm saying this with my whole chest, y'all who are responsible for inflicting harm on these people, you should bury your head in the sand and then allow your body to sink down with the rest of your head. Because it's not cool. Period.
Yeah. I didn't know how to like step into that conversation because it's
Just kick open the door.
yeah, okay.
Like the police there.
um it's hard because it's like, during that time of like, just building my foundation in dance and finding a safe space for me, which that was Footnotes for me, was one of the safest places I've learned any type of vocabulary of dance, and that's right behind girls club, like early girls club, when it was early.
There's a difference.
Yeah, there's a difference. Girls club with Tamina, when she was there and giving us value too. I was always safe in my training rooms with people. I never felt like I wasn't safe. Even just taking a class, even working with people like yourself, I never felt like I wasn't safe. And to see that that's like a thing nowadays, it hurts my feelings.
Agreed.
Because it just makes me think, like, how did we get here and why did we get here and why is it not being vocalized? Like, why do we forget because we want to book a job now?
Right. The hard thing for me with all of that was a lot of these people were people that I considered friends.
Yeah.
A lot of these folks were colleagues. A lot of these people were dancers that I helped bring into the industry. And I feel like it felt, no, let me be clear in what I'm saying. I feel like some people got the brunt of it and were ostracized and treated far differently than other people because of the status that some folks had. And that is not cool. And it still doesn't feel good in my spirit about it. I won't even call these names. That one slipped out.
Yeah.
That one slipped out and I caught myself quick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know because, no. They see me and they don't see me. They know that they can't exist where I exist because they don't want to face the truth. Because if they open their mouth and say, hi, Narbu, me, I gotta say, wagwan. So what happened?
Yeah. But really, what did happen? Like, where's all the woke people at?
Listen, and the final straw for me was getting messages from males in particular, because as soon as all this stuff happened, I reached out to all the girls who've ever been in the company that I had around any of these individuals, and I was like, listen, if at any point any shit went down while I was responsible for having you in that space, I need you to tell me.
Right now, yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So that I can go to them and deal with the thing.
Yeah.
But to the point you're making, the environment that I create around myself, that stuff
wouldn't
fly. And everybody knows it, as far as I know. But the thing that broke me was getting these messages from these boys in particular, being like, I owe you an apology. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you'd reached out to me to do work for you. And I said no because I assumed that you were like them.
Wow. That says a lot.
You are the company you keep. And I chose to be in company with a lot of these people out of this convoluted need to feel like I belonged to this group of folks when I'm the star. I've got the voice, Curtis. Dina's beautiful. She's always been beautiful, but I've got the voice.
I'm Beyonce.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? And I'm sharing all of this now in this way just to be like, make smart decisions for yourselves, guys. Like, the sooner you can come into who you are, the better off you will be. I have never been more happy in my life. And that's because I have limited my access and my, like, I genuinely, see, you gave me news that $195 is not something I knew about. You know why? Because I don't follow these people. I don't communicate with these people.
Yeah.
These people chose to remove themselves from me for whatever reason. And I said,
deuces.
This was so cute. We had a good time.
Good luck.
Good luck. Go forth and be great. I believe that how things end is equally as important as how they start, right? And I don't have bad blood with anybody. And if anybody has an issue with me, then I don't know about it. And the reason I don't know about it is because win attack.
Yeah, they don't have access to you.
They don't have access. And that whole thing was very disheartening, especially seeing certain individuals just months later working on big projects. Like I just saw that just released 2 more movies where he's working with young people. And I'm like, Disney.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't know if like, I don't know, like it feels like sometimes like proof isn't enough, facts aren't enough, and it's like everybody gets amnesia when it comes to the dollar amount.
What they're saying is who these victims are, they're not important enough for me to care.
Yeah.
It's the same shit with black people. A black girl goes missing. Oh, a black girl's missing. A blonde hair, blue-eyed white girl from a rich family goes missing. Roadblocks, helicopters, news articles, all sorts of things. It's the same shit. And it really breaks my heart that women and men that we know were abused, whether mentally, emotionally, physically, to the degree of what abuse, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. These predators use their authority to make other people who are their subjects or beneath them feel like their value was taught. No, wrong. It's wrong. And until y'all take accountability for your actions, don't see me, miss me. Because if there's accountability taken and steps to rectify said behavior, I'm not God. I can forgive. But it's everybody just moving on with life like nothing happened.
Yeah.
We're like, whoop, dodge that bullet. Not over here. My gun sits on lock, honey.
Talk right underneath my bed.
Watcha.
But it makes sense, because it's just a sad thing to see, and it's a pattern in Toronto. Like things will happen, we'll be loud about it, and then that's it. I don't need anybody to be canceled. That's not my thing, because it's even more disheartening to see that these are black people,
honey,
that are at the forefront,
honey,
and it just hurts that much more to know that it's black people. It's somebody who looks like me. So
it's men that I called friends.
Yeah,
it's men that I brought into spaces. It's men that brought me into spaces. It is individuals that we cultivated opportunities for each other. It's no.
It's a colleague. It's a friend. It's a family. It's somebody that was there with you through thick and thin. So to see that happening, it's disheartening. And again, I don't need accountability on a Zoom call. Like my more thing was.
Not that no, you don't need a town hall meeting.
No, I don't need a town hall meeting. I think I think the loudest apology is change behavior. That's it for me. Taking accountability, doing the work, and not caring about social medias or anything like that. If you really value your core and your value and your day when it comes to time we have to go a judgment day and stand to the Lord, you need to make sure you fix yourself. And the loudest apology is change behavior. And if you haven't changed your behavior and you just think that you can just skip on to the next job and just do what you got to do and then cast for the answers, you're never going to see me want to cast for you in any shape or way or form.
And all of these people just saying yes.
They just do it.
These people saying yes. I'm like, what if that was your sister that they did this to? What if that was your brother that they did this to? What if that was your niece, your nephew, your best friend, your roommate? You'd still say yes to go be putting people them job?
Oh yeah, I think so.
I know so.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's been happening. Not me. Honest to Ja, I got an offer to do a job, and the job was a halftime show. The first ever halftime show with drag queens for the NBA. And I was adamant that I'm fine to do the job as long as my correspondence with said individual was only in a professional setting. And that was it. I almost turned it down. My agent was like, I don't think this is a good idea. I'm like, well, I am not comfortable participating in pretending like this isn't a thing.
Yeah.
And like, no, you'll talk directly to the head person. And I said, cute. And you can even ask them if you ever want to. I think we might have said 9 words to each other through the whole thing. They were over there, I was over here, and I did my job and did it well and exited the premises.
As you should. Hmm. I think I mean I know what you're talking about, and I did hear about it.
And I sat with it for a long time. I was like, I feel like I'm participating in the bullshit.
Yeah.
And how I was able to justify it was that it wasn't them. They just happened to also work for this organization.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
So it was organization, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if the organization chooses to continue, that's on them. But me bitch, it's a no. I pass. And to the point where there was at least some degree of, hey, this thing happened and I'm going to create space for, there was some degree of acknowledgement, and
Yeah, there was one where it wasn't at all.
there was multiple where there wasn't at all.
Well, multiple, but comparison,
But yeah, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So badness so bad, still bad. Don't chat to me.
I mean, yeah, it's true. That's how it needs to be. And it's like there's more of that now in a newer generation of dance that's been circulating, and I'm not gonna go into so many details because it's like legal things now that are going on.
Lord Jesus.
And it hurts to see that that's what's happening. And it's like you got to protect the youth in some shape or form of way. And the fact that now these young dancers, whether or not, like, listen, I'm no judge or jury, okay? Whether it's this, that, or whatever, the fact of the matter is that something occurred.
Right.
And it happened.
Right.
And it shouldn't have.
Right.
And we got to really just sit back and just remember, like, your students are your students. You're there to teach. There needs to be a line that's not crossed, and so many people are crossing it that it just makes it so unbearable to even go into spaces. Because how can I know I'm coming here to learn and you not trying to check me in a different way where you shouldn't be looking at me as, besides the eyes of me being your student?
My girl, there's been like it's just to me, it's never been a good idea to shit where you eat. Like it's just never been a good idea.
No.
I mean, I've done productions where there are people who I find attractive, and to this day I still can't date them because I'm just like, no.
No. Yeah. You can't.
No.
You can't.
I'm cute bud, like cute bud.
Had to really be like,
Cute. I'm like, well, maybe if it happens outside. No. And especially being a man of a certain age. She's 39.
Absolutely.
Even that, it's like, I'm a grown man. What may I do with somebody pick me?
That part.
And pick me in the sense of mental, much less somebody's actual pick me.
Yeah. It's the wisdom. It's not all there yet.
No.
They're still learning.
And like your lived life experience, especially the time that I grew up in. Like I was the kid who was getting on Greyhound buses Thursday night at 11:30 p.m. to wake up Friday morning in New York, take class whole day Saturday to get back on the bus to come back to Toronto to go to school Monday morning. Like the life that I've lived in LA, I've toured Canada, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's all there.
What am I doing with someone this is their first theater show? Them just get pun the job. 26 years old.
I have no idea what life is.
No, sir. I pass.
Yeah, no.
I pass.
It can't happen. I just think everybody needs to go back to focusing on that. And that was just my thing. It doesn't matter of anything of the sort. I don't care.
It's about accountability.
Yeah.
And it's about ownership. You know what? Not my bad, because that sounds like a brush off, but like I acknowledge that my behavior was completely inappropriate. And I take ownership of that, and I apologize to anybody I have hurt with said behavior. And
Mhm.
I am making a commitment on this day today to move forward and do better.
Mhm.
Whether they follow through with that or not, hide nor hair. But at least if they did that, then if I saw them, I could at minimum give them a brother man head nod. Because you've taken ownership as a man and as a human being, as a person who has inflicted harm, intentional or otherwise, on another person. And if you can't do that, I don't want to be your friend anyways. I don't want to roll like that.
Period.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry. But like, come on, guys. At the end of the day, all of this stuff comes and goes. The jobs end. The chapters come to a close.
Yep.
What you're left with is who you are and what you did. And I'm proud to say that even listening to you talk, that the stuff that I've said and the example that I have set has not fallen on deaf ears. And there are people who are benefiting from what sometimes can be my rather long rants about things.
Yeah, your words have always stuck with me, and so that's why like I think it's important that people they notice that like you're speaking from passion and it's not to be in any way, but you are a passionate person about what you do because you know the value and how important it is to be a leader in this industry. And if you're a true leader, then there's no problem for you to use your voice when a voice should be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's more important than the clout, the people who come to your class, the Instagram likes, whatever you think it is. Like I think it's more important that we have people like yourself speak up because not a lot of people have said much.
Right. I think everybody, well, 2020, pandemic, everything for everybody sort of shifted.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have gone back to the status quo of living and ways of living. And I, for one, was forever changed by all of that experience. And I never take for granted the opportunities that I have to continue to work. Like it was rough for me. Like I was like, what am I going to do? Everything I do requires multiple people.
Right.
Producing a show, multiple people. You need an audience, multiple people. You're working on set, multiple people. Concert, like everything I do required groups of folks. And it was very scary not knowing if I would be able to do that again. And I vow that if and when we were able to go back to life, that I wouldn't continue living it and doing it the way that I did. Massive changes happened for me in 2020. I moved into my first place by myself. I was recently single. My relationship ended December 2019. Like a lot of life changes. The time off finally gave me space to process losing my baby brother. Like just a lot of life changes. And I just really want, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done and the comet is plummeting towards the earth, or the something up and up, I'm lava spill out, or locust comes, whatever God decides he wants to do this go round, that I can stand firm knowing that I was integral and I was honest and I was truthful, and that I spoke up when I thought things were wrong, and I advocated for things to be right. And it long story short, I'm consumed with legacy.
Absolutely.
Hearing my grandma's story of leaving Jamaica with a suitcase, never been on an airplane in her life, just pack up one suitcase and left. How dare me, who was born into all of this, not maximize?
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking a bit before off camera just about, like, I think about my American friends who can't trace where they're from. Like, we are in a very unique position to create legacy in this country. My family's name will have mattered and will have amounted to something because of the work that I am doing now. Generations will be changed because of the work that I am doing now. I was in here on my way here, listening to the radio, and the CSA's for film and TV, for film are tonight, and Lamar Johnson is nominated for Best Actor.
Wow.
This is a kid who I met when he was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I know that I have affected positive change into this young man's life because this young man has said this to me on multiple occasions. That's what this has to be about. And I'm even listening to you talk, and I'm not going to cry, but like listening to you talk, it's validating and it's reaffirming that it all hasn't been for naught, that people are actually better from knowing me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what a gift that is.
Yeah. No, not a lot of people can say that. And you've impacted a lot. And that's why I said I'll say it to your face and behind your back. I've always said it and I've always held it up to here. Hollywood is somebody that cares, and that if you feel that love, and even if it's tough love, it's because it comes from a place deep inside of his heart. And you admire your art. You do so much things. And that's why it's like, when like even like the little things that like, you know, I wasn't seeing a lot of people take opportunity to learn from you. When you would do like pop-ups and like people weren't showing up, I would like get upset, and I'm just like, do you know who this man is? Like,
and the knowledge and the value that I want to share. Like, I willingly want to share it. And I'm not charging you $195 for come learn.
No, you're not gatekeeping in any way. No.
And it's just like, for me, it really is that it has to be about more. I can't take any of this with me. And if I don't pass this on, then it dies. And then people and then people don't know. And they assume that the way that they are living and existing is okay. And I've always liked being the alternative.
Yeah.
I like being the exception to the rule. And that has been my existence from my whole existence. Like, I'm the first openly queer person that I know of in my family and a lot of my friend groups. And, you know, I was on honor roll in high school. I was one of 2 Black boys who graduated on honor roll in high school. And it wasn't because it was easy, it's because I did the work. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I just want to, that's what it is. I just want to continue to work and continue to inspire and elevate. Like, I love my craft. I really do.
And you're really good at it, by the way.
Thank
Just
you.
want you to know. Like, he could do it all, okay?
Thank you.
You do it very well.
And we're going to do more.
Amen.
I am not done. There's still more power moves to make, and like there's still more opportunities to affect real change. Like, being the choreographer on these projects is amazing, but I want to direct. I want to be the director. I want to be the person who's like, hire this person, this person, this person, because I know this will work, and not have to explain, rationalize, jump through hoops, convince a lighting designer that you can light said person. I just want to be like, this is the cast, y'all figure it out.
Yeah.
And then empower those people to be great in their roles. You know, I recently, my manifestation this year is that all doors that were closed to me shall be opened. All doors that are aligned with my purpose that were closed to me shall be opened. And like I said, this phone keeps ringing. I said that at the beginning of this year, and already within the first quarter of the year, I've had 2 episodes that I choreographed of a nationally syndicated show on Fox. I'm talking, we used to watch Living Single and Martin and New York Undercover on Fox.
Holy New York Undercover.
Baby, 90210 was on Fox. And I choreographed not 1, but 2 episodes that were directed by Black men for this TV show called Accused. I have opened 2 theater productions for Canadian stage.
And we're only in April.
Baby. And it's just going to continue.
Amen.
So we just, I give thanks to God, and I just keep going.
As you should.
We just keep going.
As you should. Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so much that like.
Go for it.
There's so much. Okay. The state of the dance showcase world, to me, I think is crumbling
completely.
I remember when you were on those stages as a dancer in these pieces, and then you became a host for
Mm-hmm.
these shows. I want your honest opinion and what you think about the choreographer balls, the Fever After Darks.
I don't have one. And the reason I don't have one is because I don't exist in those spaces anymore. And not because I don't want to. Um, I feel like once I realized that whoever got the greatest applause that night, the following week or 2 weeks after would have a dance class at a studio, I was like,
You saw the
this
agenda.
is where I tap out.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I no longer want to actively participate in this space because it's not about showcasing art anymore. It has become a popularity contest. And not that I wasn't popular in school, because I was, but I always hated the concept of that. So I was the person, because I was popular, I would go and eat lunch with whoever because I was like, me no more than them no more than me.
Amen.
We are in the same ugly Catholic school uniform in the same cafeteria. How dare I feel like you can't sit over here? So I would go, like, do you know what I mean? I've never liked that. And I just didn't, the culture of it shifted. It used to be so extremely diverse that you would never hear the same song. They had ballet, they had tango, they had contemporary, they had jazz, they had tap, they had dance hall, they had African, they like you name it. It was so diverse and it was a true representation of what I feel like the dance world looked like at the time. I feel like a lot of those folks don't actively participate in this stuff anymore because they also sense that if I'm not doing what's current and if I don't have the hottest dancer in my piece, nobody's going to care.
Yeah.
Right? It's when people went on stage and they do one move and everybody would scream and I'd be like, "What are we screaming about?"
Yo, I hate that.
I was like, "They didn't even do anything."
Just do a woo.
And it devalued the woo. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like it to me. And I think those platforms are important because I grew so much as a creator and as a choreographer in those spaces and in those platforms,
did.
which is why I wanted to host it and really explain to the audience and pull them into the narrative. And not to toot my own horn, but I really feel that while I was hosting those shows, the audience got a broader understanding and a deeper perspective of what it took to bring all of this to life.
Yes.
I would pull choreographers back on stage. I'd pull dancers out and be like, take your moment. Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like these things were important at that time to acknowledge what it took to make this stuff happen. People used to work for weeks on their pieces for choreographers ball. Now it's like, oh, the show's on Saturday, rehearsals Monday night, Tuesday morning, and if we need it, Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
And then I'll see you all at the show Friday. And the quality of what is being produced has become so watered down, and like people dancing in multiple people's pieces per night. And I'm guilty. I've done it, but I did it at the peak of my dance career. Like I was like firing on all cylinders and I could handle doing multiple pieces in one night. What ends up happening is you're tired off because the people that move so damn much. Your focus is split. You can't, like, do you know what I mean?
know where to go,
There are very few people I saw do multiple people's pieces in a night where I felt the textures were different.
Yeah.
You just went up here and did the same thing twice. And one of them was better than the other because maybe you like this person better or
so
whatever.
You went harder in one
right?
Than the
Like,
other,
do you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like, so I really don't have an opinion or a thought. I would love to be invited to one where there are no predators included. B, it's like an invite thing where everybody's picked and like I'm coming into your rehearsal to see the quality of what you're doing. I feel like if honestly, I'm giving away trade secrets, but it doesn't matter because I'm full of ideas. I think what it should be is the roster is 12 people. The week before the show, we're coming in to see your piece, and if it's not, to the standard
You
that
don't
we
go on
want it to
stage.
be, you don't go on stage. Or you might not go on stage and you show up to dress rehearsal and you do the piece. And if it's good, you go on. And if not, thank you for coming. There's no stake in it anymore. It's just, yeah, I'm
They
going to
just
just do
choose
this because,
everybody.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just do this because, no, I never created anything for Choreographer's Ball. These free showcases just because, ever. Don't treat my profession like something you do in your pastime because you're too busy creating combinations for your class. I just want people to give a damn again and not just about the end result, right? Like you have to give a damn about why you're doing it. Like if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, I would rather go to a really tightly run show that has 10 wicked acts than sit through 3 hours of mediocrity.
Oh yeah, man. The lengths of those shows are really long. And it never starts on time.
And these long ass pieces, child. And as a host, if your description takes me 3 minutes to read, you need to do more work on the piece, honey, because the piece should be able to speak for itself.
That part.
All right? Like if I got to read a whole backstory, a soliloquy, is it qui or que? Either way. A one of them, and give a dissertation
soliloquy.
I think it is soliloquy.
Yeah.
I just think the bougie
Yeah,
part of my brain wants to say soliloquy. Soliloquy. Yeah. See?
Mon ami.
Exactly. But like if I have to go through all of that to paint the picture for the audience, you just need to do more work on the piece.
Yeah. The artistry should speak for itself.
Honey, it used to be that next up to the stage is so and so.
Yeah. Not this piece was blah, 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 and this is blah, 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 a letter to their blah, blah, blah.
And I get it. I get it if it has like artistic depth and is actually going to like elevate how people receive it, be my guest. But if you have to tell me the whole story in no.
Keep it. I don't want it.
No.
I don't want it.
And young choreographers, aspiring choreographers, my advice to you is if it can't be said simply, then you just don't understand it.
You don't understand it. Just leave it alone. That's what I think as well. I mean, I just wanted to know that because I've never gone on I've never presented my piece, a piece on a stage before, because I didn't see the value in it anymore. I remember I really wanted to one time because
it used to be a rite of passage.
Yeah, it used to be like if you were on this stage, you earned it.
I remember an early choreographer's ball. Luther was being interviewed by some TV show that was there. And they were like, oh, how do you feel about the show? Luther's like, I didn't realize that there were 21 choreographers in Toronto. And I was like, oh.
But it's true. I didn't realize that either. You could say nothing.
How do you argue with that? Especially with somebody like him who, again, holds what he does in such a high regard, right? And then you have Tiny Tim over here all of a sudden is being put on the same bill as you and is being called a choreographer. Wait a second now. Hold on. What are the credentials for being a choreographer? What are the qualifications? I didn't call myself a choreographer till other people called me a choreographer. I was someone who made up dances. Yeah. And I mean, I was on tour with the Backstreet Boys choreographing for Divine Brown, calling myself a dancer. And her background singer, Christine Hamilton, said to me, she slapped me. She said, stop that. I said, what? She said, you are not a dancer. You put all of this together. You made all of this happen. You are a choreographer. And that's the day I started calling myself a choreographer. Until that point, nada.
Yeah, everybody calls himself a choreographer. I'm a dance teacher first. And the reason why I'm a dance teacher is because I have the certificate to prove that I can be a dance teacher.
Your blood clot.
In stage and in acro, which means I can teach a jazz, a tap, a hip hop class, and I can also do acrobatics, which is a separate examination because you need to be able to learn how to spot people to prevent injuries. So that's the reason why I'm able to say that I am a dance instructor first, a dance teacher first.
And there's nothing wrong with being a dance instructor.
But it seems like a dance instructor is like, it gets lost in the sauce. It means it seemed like that doesn't matter. Everybody's calling themselves a choreographer, but no,
What have you choreographed?
that's what I want to know. Putting together a combination does not make you a choreographer.
Honey, a string of counts of 8 does not a choreographer make. That should go on a t-shirt.
Facts.
But that, it's, and again, different generations, different folks. People love to give self-proclaim this, self-proclaim that. I have this conversation with vocal coaches. I have this conversation with stylists. I have this conversation with lots of other creatives where, in the day and age of social media, you can be anything you want to be. You don't actually have to have credits or credentials. Nobody cares as long as you're hype. And I've never subscribed to the hype. In fact, I was always like, I don't understand why everybody's so hype.
I never understood the hype because to me, it like, again, it loses the value of the artistry and the passion that I have for dance. If something is hype, like I want to hype dance, I want something for TikTok. I'm just like, that's not where I came from.
TikTok.
Like,
all somebody has to do is go like this and unplug it. Everybody shake.
Yeah.
Everybody shake.
Yeah.
If your whole existence exists on this one app, you listen. No, not me. I can exist in this space, but I also exist outside of this space. People who matter know my name.
That part, and that's another thing to point to, because a lot of people will be like, oh, like, the hypeness is not around you, so they're not gonna know the things that you do. But it's like, if you know, like I said, that's why I said privileged.
Honey.
If you're privileged enough to go into a classroom with Hollywood, then you will know why it's important to have that communication with him. You will know why it's important to show up. You will understand why he's still sitting here looking like Benjamin Button aging backwards, okay?
Baby.
You'll get it. Like, if you know, you know.
And it's not like the information isn't there.
Sorry.
You're good. It's not like it's there, but they just don't care. And I can't make you care. If I lead you to the water and I sip the water and I tell you the water is refreshing and you still like stand up there and say, no, you don't want to drink the water.
I can't help you.
Those are your choices. And I respect freedom of choice. Okay? So we know where I stand on that. Your body, your choice.
Mm-hmm.
Cool? In all aspects. I don't know. And it used to make me sad and depressed. I'm like, what am I not doing? What am I not offering? Like, I feel like I give so much and people just don't want to receive it. So I just stopped trying to make them receive it. I was like,
So how does it feel for you when people don't show up to your class, but as soon as you put a casting for an audition or something, they'll jump in there?
I love it, because then they come to the casting and they flounder and they fail. And the girls who are in class regularly and know me, they understand what it means. You can see, it is very clear. You can see the people who know me and the people who don't.
Yeah.
The girls who know me know to show up in a look. Don't come to my audition in track pants. I don't care if we're auditioning for Adidas. You better find a legging and a crop top. Like, there's a way to present yourself.
Yes.
I use this as an example. Like, if you're going to go and audition for something based in the 60s, you're not going to show up with a 90s hairstyle.
Mm-hmm.
Dress for the job you want.
Dress for the job yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, so I love it, in fact. And then they're always like, oh, when are your classes? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you because you're not going to show up anyways.
And like, don't try to have that small conversation with me. That small talk is so unnecessary. Like,
completely.
When are you teaching? Just say
I've already made my decision.
Shake my hand and go about your business. You know what I mean?
Actually, don't even shake my hand because COVID is still a thing. Thank you.
Air dap me.
Yeah, honey. And no, like, it's I find it funny, especially if you know in weeks in advance that the audition's coming and you wouldn't show up to class.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. if there's an opportunity for you to show up to like, that's your way of like, that was like the cheat code. If you knew there
Yes.
was an audition and you knew somebody was teaching, you show up to their class so they can see you, remember your face, show up, show out, get to know and get familiar with their way of teaching
Mm-hmm.
and their textures and their
Mm-hmm.
execution in their pocket, so that when you get to that audition, you're able to sit in that. And because I showed up to your classes, because I went to multiple auditions, I didn't book everything, but because I showed up, I knew how to come and present myself. I'll never forget. I came to one of those auditions, and I believe it was right before or after. It was around those time frame, and I remember I came with my white toenail, my white nail polish on my toes, and I remember I had my foot going out, and I went out, and you look back at my foot, and you're like, that's a good position, and the reason why I can see your good position because you got white toes on your. And he's like, and make sure you continue to do that way because that's gonna be a dead giveaway if your foot sickles.
Because I'm paying attention to everything in the room. I am seeing it all. I am seeing it all. And if you know that the person you're going to go work with is so detail oriented, think about your details.
Yeah. After that, I went with a French tip. I was like, you know what? We're just gonna do
Just to be safe. No, but like it's the truth, and I don't know. It's different. Like people don't know how to audition. Some people, like you said, don't even want to audition. They're just gonna send you a so email. I can't help you. And I know that my brand of way of working and communicating is not for everybody because everybody can't handle the truth.
No.
Right? Everybody wants to be coddled and told, oh, you're so hype, you're so hype, you're so hype. I just worked on this job and the dancers were like, it would have been nice to, like, hear something positive. I said, well, if you did something that warranted a positive statement, you would have gotten it.
Yeah, do people not know you? Like,
No,
I
they
would have
don't.
never said that.
But I'm glad they did because now they know when I do give them a compliment, they're like, oh wow, I
You
earned
take it
that.
and run with it. Yeah.
Right. I've earned that.
Yeah.
Instead of me being like, good job, you were great. Great job, Timmy. No. I hate this participation ribbon era that we live in.
Yeah.
If I didn't come first, I want to know what first place did that made me second.
Yeah. What
because
can
I
do?
know I worked my butt off. So I want to know what they did so that I can add whatever they did to what I do so that I can be first. That's it. I don't care about it's an honor to be nominated. Bullshit. I want to win.
Me too.
I came to win in life. Okay? And this generation of participation ribbons and coddling and being everybody's friend, no. 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 My friends are people that I can rely on and depend on and call for anything, no matter what time of day. You are not my friend. You are a work colleague if you are lucky enough to be considered as such. The reality is most of you are hired help. And not in a disrespectful way, but I'm facilitating a job and I need X amount of people to facilitate said job. That does not make us friends.
No. You're here to work.
Period. And do your absolute best to be excellent at what you do so you don't have to get dragged.
Oh man, I feel like we can go on and on for days and days.
I don't know how long this episode gonna be,
I
child,
know, but
this might be a two-parter.
You know what I'm saying? I'll just have to bring you back. But what's up next for Hollywood? What should the people them look out for?
I think I can say this. No, I can't say this now. I talked to my agent. Like I said, every door that was closed to me shall be opened. Next year in the spring, I will be on stage as an actor in a play called The Inheritance at the Bluma. I know. I'm like,
girl.
Yeah, and you can have me back around
Can
the
I?
yes,
Okay.
and then I can give you more about that. But like that's what's happening next this summer. They're announcing it tomorrow, so I can talk about this too. I will be the official choreographer and talent coordinator for Green Space for Pride. I'm doing some other stuff with the actual Pride Toronto committee. I've got my R&B brunches. They will be monthly. Um,
Oh yeah, my sister went to that. She said it was a vibe.
Baby,
Yeah.
you need to come.
Yeah.
Don't miss out. And the tickets will sell out. So R&B brunches will be monthly. Live music, DJs, good energy. It's a place where people who love R&B music can come, look cute, smell good, and be seen by other people who look cute and smell good. Because, baby, it's leaning more towards the mature clientele because, again, it's R&B, and there was a whole generation where R&B was terrible. So, if you know your 90s, early 2000s R&B, this is the place for you. Yeah, and I'm planning on taking them on the road, cross Canada, doing them in different cities. We're going. That'll take me till at least August.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on, pre-booked.
Come on. Listen, my calendar this has never happened.
Yeah.
I have dates booked up until April of next year.
That's amazing.
That means this rent is paid. Which also might be why I don't have to charge people $195 for come to class. You thought I forgot? You thought I was gonna let you thought
I was waiting
you
for
thought
it.
you thought I was gonna let that go?
No.
$195.
That's gonna be the title of this episode. I'm telling you.
$195 for what?
For what?
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
God.
So again, and with all humility and all grace to God, like, what a blessing to know that I am, at least on paper, financially in a position that I can continue to live the life that I live, which has also made it easier for me to make the decisions that I make and approach the projects that I approach. So I would also like to just say, young dancers, I am the person who will hire new talent. I'm always into helping people expand, but do yourself a favor. Try your best not show up no yado.
That part.
Get your resume together. When you approach me, come correct. Don't be sweaty and drunk in the club talking about you want to work. And then I'm like, well, submit. Be like, well, you could just call me.
Oh, no, not that.
My girl, the boy roll up on me and other people them club talk about, hey.
Hey.
I'm like, wagwan. He's like, I'd love to work with you. I'm like, well, yeah, just submit. He's like, well, you could just call me. I'm like, I could. But why would I do that? You want to work with me? He's like, yeah, but I'm like, if you wanted a job at McDonald's calls you?
No, you call McDonald's.
You got McDonald's and apply?
And apply to the bravery.
Honey, I'm team bring back shame, okay? Because when people did frighten for shame in public, they acted right. So
you got to bring it back now so people know not to get so brave.
Honey, don't, and not shame you in a way where it's like you're embarrassed. But like, I have to tell him, I'm like, that's not how that works.
No.
I'm the one with the job that you want. All if you're perfect for the job. If you don't submit, you don't want the job.
Yeah, you're not getting the job. It's that simple.
I'll work with the person who submits. Period. So
that part.
Hollywood's here for the kids.
Mm-hmm. We play a game.
Okay.
On the CheyTea podcast. We always like to close this out at the end of the episode.
I love games. What's the prize?
So you've been doing this all day though. So I mean, you're really good at it. You're gonna I'm gonna say a name, something of some sort of magnitude, and you're gonna either shy away or you spill the tea.
Work. What's the prize?
$195. That's how much it is.
I'm in. I might go take a workshop. I won't.
Treat ears.
I will not.
Oh, okay.
I refuse.
Now, we already went through the disclaimer.
I'm ready.
Okay, so let's start off with something that's, cool. Luther Brown. Share an experience. You can shy away or you can spill something.
I absolutely will not shy away. I love and adore Luther Brown.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about him not really, like the stigma that he doesn't mess with Toronto anymore?
I don't blame him at all. What is he messing with?
Nothing.
Exactly. The caliber and the quality of what once was here doesn't exist. And this isn't just him. I hear from multiple choreographers, right? I have people message me, be like, "Oh, I hired one of your girls." I'm like, "How do you know they're one of my girls?" They're like, "Hollywood, your girls are just different."
Yeah, they're built different. You can
Honey.
tell.
And you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, what is there to mess with? There's no money here for him as a choreographer. There's no large pool of talent for him to come and be like, "Yo, do you know what I'm saying?"
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame him. Not messing with Toronto has him being Gwen Stefani's choreographer and working on
The
Janet's
Janet
Together
tour right
Again
now.
tour, which I
Mm-hmm.
cannot wait to go and see.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't wrong him one bit.
Yeah. I don't know why people are so hard. I get it just by being here and looking around.
It's not like y'all would come to his class any kind of
Anyways,
way.
listen. Listen, I take.
And if you did, you'd be embarrassed.
Oh,
You would
absolutely.
be embarrassed and you couldn't handle it.
I run with that and I run with it proud that I was in his last class in
Come on,
Toronto.
let's go.
And I have the footage on my phone that my sister snuck and took of me
And
because we couldn't do that.
call the name and say the things because people need to know that it wasn't always what it is.
No.
Right?
No.
Yes.
No.
I'm no.
Yeah.
I
That
definitely don't mind spilling the tea.
well, there you go. Okay, next. Aaliyah Janelle. What are your thoughts on her? Do you want to share your thoughts? Or
My thoughts on Aaliyah Janelle is it is a brand of movement and choreography that a lot of people like.
Mhm.
It is not my brand. It is not that is not the way that I like to see women move and received by large audiences personally, but people love it. Them classes stay packed, honey, and she's working. So that's just hey, I cannot knock anybody's hustle.
Okay.
It's just not my thing. Like personally, it feels very. There was an era where video girls BET used to have BET Uncut,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
it feels very BET Uncut appropriate. And I never liked watching BET Uncut because I hated the way that women, in particular black women, were degraded in at this period of time in music videos.
Yeah.
There was a video where they swiped a credit card between this girl's
Tip
butt
drill.
cheeks. Yes. And I laughed the first time, and then immediately after, I'm like, did they just equate her? That's negative. So it's just not my brand. But a lot of people love it, and a lot of women, in particularly, love it, which I find interesting. But not my zhuzh.
Not this woman.
I pass.
Yeah. Hard pass.
Yeah, I can't even watch the videos because I know that somebody's panani is gonna end up in the screen, and I'm just like,
It kind of just threw a stigma on heels dancing, and
yes.
that's the reason why I don't rock with it. I unfollowed her a very, very long time ago, and I'm like, yo, it's not all about like geeky ga, geek,
Pussy.
yeah, like it's not about that. It's not about my pom pom and what I do with it. It's not about sklits sklats, geeky, and like biting my
Yeah.
finger every 2 seconds. Like there's so much more to it that you can do, and it's all repetitive and it's all the same. And
See, you know more than me because I don't even watch. And again, I can almost tell immediately. I'm like, nope. And then I'll see other things and I'm like, yep, right away. I'm more nuance. I'm more texture. I'm more feeling. And to me, it doesn't. It's not connected or rooted to anything other than nya 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 nya. And women, I feel, are way more complex and way more interesting than just Sidis
yeah, there's this.
Yeah, you heard me. Sidis Pusya.
I don't like how I heard that in headphones. I was like, whoa. Felt that in the back of my neck.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, there's only two more.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I feel like I'm spilling all the tea and I don't mind.
Yeah, well, we already knew you weren't shying away from nothing. Studio North.
Lovely gowns. Those of you who get the reference will get the reference. Those of you who don't, allow me to elaborate. Um, somebody did an interview with Aretha Franklin, and they asked her about
Yeah, I saw
these
it.
artists, and
Yeah.
Taylor Swift came up, and
She said,
she said lovely
lovely
gowns
gown. Yeah.
because,
She's not a singer like the artist that they were bringing up.
and not just that, I don't think Taylor Swift exists in Aretha Franklin's reality,
Yeah, of course not.
and I don't know I honestly, I'm so far removed from. It's so strange. Like, as a choreographer, my career has never thrived more, but I've never been farther removed from the dance community than I am right now. Like, never. Right? So I don't even know who's teaching. I don't know when they're teaching.
No one.
I don't know anything. But I also sort of get that, because these businesses have to keep their doors open, and who's going to get bodies into the space, which sounds terrible, because it's not about quality, it's about quantity. And I think that's the statement. I think it's about quantity and not quality. And I could be wrong. Like, Studio North has done me no harm, no disjustice. I've rehearsed in the facility a couple times for different things. Again, I think it's a beautiful space. The location is awkward, but
Very.
yeah, but I don't know. And again, it brings me to the point of, like, I think about Joy of Dance, which is a beautiful studio that's very easy to get to, but people don't want to come take class there. I don't understand.
Very nice and always clean.
Always clean. Them used to give away free water, all sorts of things.
Then COVID, but it's okay.
And then COVID.
Okay, and the last one, oh my gosh. Hold on, it's coming back.
Take your time.
Oh, the last one, the most important one to me, Hollywood's love life.
Ooh. Not a damn thing, Nagwa.
Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing. It's funny. This has been a topic a lot lately. And somebody asked me, they're like, who do you date? And I'm like, I don't. Like, not that I am like high and mighty and above, but like I said, I have a certain lived life experience that even a regular 39-year-old doesn't have. And much less in the queer community, much less in the Black queer community, because I don't know if you heard me say I advocate for Black women. I also equally do the same thing for Black men.
Yes.
My preference is to date within my nationality and my upbringing, being of Caribbean descent. If I have to explain to somebody what ackee is,
them can't come.
you can't. No, I can't have you, because my grandmother alone would read you for filth. You don't want Veronica to come for you, okay? And Miss Brown will sit there and be like, watch out.
The lip.
Otis. Yeah, so you don't want that, right? So dating for me is like pretty non-existent. The other thing is, like, all the good-looking Black men in this city, I pretty much know they're all my friends, and I don't shit where I eat.
As you should not.
Because then the dali will smash up, and So if there are any men of a certain age that are doing fairly well for themselves in life and want to, like, treat me to an experience or two, I'm open. Please have your stuff together, though.
Oh yeah,
please.
come correct.
At minimum. But yeah, no, there's not a damn thing I go on.
Sorry.
No, I'd laugh too. I'd laugh if I wasn't crying on the inside.
It's like just dust bunnies.
Just. Oh, this old thing.
It's still there.
But to be fair, when I was in my relationship, I had sort of cut off all of the others, and then when my relationship ended, it ended because I needed to get back to myself. And I think I have found the best version of me ever. And the idiot boy now come mess up my things, right? Like like I said, the feng shui in life is good right now, and I don't want anybody to come and interrupt the flow and the season that I'm in. I'm really in a season of focusing on me and like developing not just myself in my career, but in life. I want to be good in life, and almost completely unshakable. And like it's hard to find people who are mentally sound, financially okay, because I'm not sitting, I'm not rolling in dough, but like if I want to buy myself a ting, I can buy myself a
You're
ting.
comfortable,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Someone who's God fearing, someone who preferably is of Caribbean descent. Like it's not super specific, but it's kind of specific. You
Very
know what
much
I
is
mean?
specific, but
Yeah,
yes.
and like
But you know what you want, and that's all that
yeah,
matters.
exactly. Talk to me nice.
Period.
Right. And also, I have this conversation with my friends all the time. They're like, "You're such an alpha in every area of your life. I need an alpha in my personal life. Like, I can't also be the alpha in my relationship because then I'll just be like, somebody else to just control
Yeah.
and tell
Do
what
what
to
they gotta do. Yeah.
Right? I need someone to look at me and be like, you are talking too much, and I'll be like, yeah,
Not you putting me in my place.
baby.
That's how we get doing.
When it's done in the right way.
Amen.
Okay, talk to me nice. But yeah, so nothing really. I'm good. Like I'm really good. Like I'm surprisingly good in that realm because I'm not settling. Like I need you to have Will Smith money.
Oh, not the Will Smith.
Honey. Like if you hear Hollywood Jade is getting married, you can nod your head and be like, he's rich.
Oh, absolutely. That's how you know. That's how you know that is a wealthy man.
Honey, I'm marrying, and I'm not shy about it. I am marrying up. I know too many people who have gotten married and then Dalios mash up and Adam left with his heartbreak. At least if the Dalios mash up, I'm getting the Dalios. Okay.
He said, no prenups here, baby.
There could be a prenup, but I'm still getting the Dalios. So.
Rightfully so.
That's just that on that.
Well, I thank you so much for coming and joining us. And before you know, I give the flowers that need to be given to those who come here. And I need you to understand, people, the folks who are watching and listening today. You see, people are bringing on this couch here.
Top quality.
Okay. This is a relationship because of respect. No, top blood clot quality, yeah? Yeah, okay? This is because of respect. You see the people that know my name?
Yes.
The ones that know my name are the ones that matter. You see Hollywood Jade? Hollywood Jade will be like, oh, hey, Cheyenne. Okay? All right, and that's because I've built the respect, and I don't surpass my place. It's still Mr. Hollywood Jade when I see him. All right,
it's so cute. It really is. It's so cute, and I wear that with a badge of honor. Like that means something to me. Yes, it really does.
I will never call you out of your name. You will always be Mr. Hollywood Jade. Thank you so much. Like, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
I'm giving you your flowers. You are somebody that I admire, that I look up to, and that I very much so want to make sure that I follow in the footsteps that you led me in.
Work.
And if I can't even wear the same shoes, I'm just gonna pick up my foot in the same foot where you stepped to make sure I do it correctly. So I thank you for being you. I thank you for being amazing. I thank you for continuing to do the work. And just know it means something, because everything you did is the reason why I am doing what I'm doing today. Okay? You did that. So you keep going because you are that guy. Okay? And I love you. I love you like cook bomba clap food, yeah?
From your granny.
Yeah, the eyes them must swell up, but I love him. Okay? You deserve it.
Thank you. I received that more than anything.
Yes.
Like I've had to learn to sit and take in what is being said. And the stuff that is useful, I hold on to, and the stuff that isn't, I let go of. And that way of thinking, that way of being has also made my existence so much better, and I receive that. And it's important to hear that, because sometimes, especially when you are taking the high road and you're being the good person and you're not allowing the industry to control you and make decisions for who you are, it can be thankless. And I appreciate that. I receive that, and whatever has stuck, I'm glad it's stuck, and
Stuck like glue.
I can see it manifesting itself in you, and I just encourage you to keep going because this was fantastic. I had a great time, and I hope everybody comes on and feels as comfortable as you made me feel and is as candid as I have been, because I think it's important that we are having these conversations, whether you agree with everything that was said or not. If you remove yourself out of the equation and you listen to it, you might be able to take something good from what was shared. So thank you for creating space for these conversations to have.
Anytime, baby. You know we had to do the work because it's stick like glue, stuck like glue. And we don't charge $195 here. Thank you so much for watching.
Nothing. What would I pay 100? And I'm really like, even the dinner that I took myself to for my birthday wasn't $195.
You're still trying to figure out what you
I really am trying to figure out what I would spend $195 on.
Oh,
from somebody
God.
whose resume.
Thank you so much for watching. Woo! Thank you so much for watching to people that podcast. Yes, CheyTea podcast everywhere on all social media platforms. Follow us, support. We are out here doing the thing. Aleonora, you are here in spirit, girl.
You're gonna be so mad that you missed this today.
I know, Vera. You're gonna have to listen to this one. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and he'll be back because he got more tea to spill. So why not? That part, do it one more time. Bye, y'all.
Peace. That's so